Opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. A new era. New Police Commissioner Strachan promises to weed out bad apples. Outgoing Commissioner Clayton Fernandez says he left office with integrity intact. And Prime Minister Davis defending the decision to appoint 2 deputy commissioners. Plus, in our discussion today, we are doing a post-mortem on the Junkanoo season. We're talking with some seasoned Junkanoos about what they think went right with the Boxing Day and New Year's Day parades and more. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Monday, January 6th, 2025. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Deandra Cartwright will be joining us. That's all straight ahead this morning. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, newly appointed Commissioner of Police Strachan pledging to purge the police force of bad apples and to restore public trust in the law enforcement agency. Knowles saying Friday that the missteps of the Royal Bahamas Police Force did not happen overnight and cannot be fixed right away, but added that the force is not defined by the actions of a few bad actors. She said, quote, "Within the first 90 days of my official duties as Commissioner, I will direct that all police officers and police reserves at every level will complete mandatory training sessions centered on ethics, code of conduct, justifiable force and harm, and the abuse of power." She was speaking at the handing over ceremony at police headquarters on East Street Friday afternoon. She says she's going to stipulate that all police officers working the front line wear and activate their body-worn cameras as a mandatory requirement to document all interactions with members of the public as outlined in policy. She said the RBPF will transform the way recruitment is carried out to include greater community involvement and a more transparent process of selecting candidates. The process is going to include rigorous background checks, enhanced psychological evaluations, and integrity assessments. She said, quote, "Make no mistake, we will weed out the minority of officers who abuse their authority in an unprofessional manner and engage in criminality. Every officer shall be held accountable for the individual action, and we will take firm, fair, and decisive measures where there are grounds for disciplinary and legal recourse. We are a nation of laws. None of us are above the law." Well, as you may recall, trust in the RBPF has been considerably weakened in the wake of a recently unsealed United States indictment, which alleged that 3 members of Bahamian law enforcement, including 2 police officers, used their positions to assist Colombian and Bahamian drug dealers to smuggle drugs into the United States. 13 people were named in the document, including 11 Bahamians and 2 Colombians. Allegations of corruption have also rocked the Criminal Investigations Department after explosive audio recordings were posted to social media last July. An investigation into those allegations launched, prompting Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson, who was head of CID, to go on leave. Johnson recently resigned from the force, and the file in that matter has been sent to the Director of Public Prosecutions for review. Meanwhile, at that handing over ceremony Friday, former Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernandez says he was leaving the post with his head held high and his integrity intact. Fernandez's more than 40 years of service on the police force came to an end, with Knowles being the first female commissioner in the police force's history taking over. Fernandez said the moment was bittersweet and marked the end of what he called an accomplished and fulfilling journey, saying, quote, "Policing isn't an easy job. It's a constantly changing and demanding profession. I can truly say I gave it my best shot." Reflecting on his legacy as at the helm of the force, Fernandez said that in the past 2 years, the RBPF has recruited more than 300 police officers and more than 100 police reserves, established the Anti-Gang and Firearms Task Force and a domestic violence unit, revamped saturation patrols, and replaced the force's aging fleet with 100 new vehicles. Prime Minister Philip Davis labeling criticisms by opposition leader Michael Pintard over the decision to appoint Anthony Roll as a second deputy commissioner of the police disappointing and unhelpful. Prime Minister Davis saying, quote, "I was disappointed, though not terribly surprised, to learn that the leader of the opposition has chosen to be in full attack mode rather than playing a more constructive role. His comments regarding the appointment of a deputy commissioner of police are unfounded and unhelpful." Pintard raised the concerns in a letter to Davis ahead of the swearing-in of Shanton Knowles as the newest commissioner of police. He noted his support of the appointment of Kirkwood Andrews, but questioned why Roll was also being appointed, noting concerns over his suitability for the role. Pintard claimed Roll, quote, "does not possess the skill set or breadth of experience needed to devise or implement a strategic policing plan, which we believe is desperately needed at this time." Pintard also said having 2 deputy commissioners of police is not required, noting that it would be more financially prudent to only appoint 1. A man found dead in waters off West End, Grand Bahama. This was yesterday morning. Police said the body was found floating near Bayshore Road. With the help of people in the community, the body was retrieved and taken to the local clinic where the man was pronounced dead. Police say they do not suspect foul play, but that an autopsy will be conducted to determine the exact cause of death. 3 Haitian nationals who entered the country legally but overstayed their visitors' visas have been fined. 38-year-old Yvens Gazena, 40-year-old Cassandra Valde, and 36-year-old Elaine Lamour all pleaded guilty to a charge of overstaying at their arraignment before Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley last week. Gazena, who remained in the country for 1 year, 3 months, and 5 days longer than she should have, was fined $1,500. If the fine isn't paid, Gazena will spend 6 months in prison. Valde overstayed by 7 months. She was given the option of paying a $750 fine or spending 3 months in prison. Lamour, who spent almost 2 years in the country illegally, was fined $1,500 with a default sentence of 6 months in prison. Speaking through a Creole interpreter, Lamour told the magistrate that he didn't have the money to pay. The magistrate said that he could not reduce the fine, but Lamour could appeal his decision. He recommended the repatriation of the group upon either payment or their fines or the completion of their sentences. And a Haitian man who fraudulently obtained a Bahamian passport and national card fined a collective $6,500. 43-year-old Sidney Hilaire of Augusta Street was found with a forged naturalization certificate on December 6th. Prosecutors alleged that he presented the fake naturalization card to the passport office on May 8th last year and obtained a Bahamian passport. A few months later, on July 25th, Hilaire used the passport to get an NIB card. Hilaire was eventually caught when he presented the Bahamian passport to an immigration officer on December 6th. He pleaded guilty to charges of possession of a forged document, fraud by false pretenses, uttering a forged document, possession of a false document, and uttering a false document at his arraignment before Senior Magistrate Shaka Serville. The prosecutor did not tell the court what evidence would have been presented to prove the charges if Hilaire had not pleaded guilty, but he said the facts were as stated. In mitigation, attorney Alfonso Lewis Jr. said that Hilaire had no previous convictions and was a self-employed Tyler. According to Lewis, Hilaire was entitled to documents as he was born and raised in the Bahamas. Lewis claimed that Hilaire was at the passport office when someone told him that they could expedite his application. A sewage leak forcing the closure of Montague Park, though it has since been partially reopened with the exception of an area where repair work was still ongoing as of yesterday. The Department of Environmental Planning and Protection announcing the closure on Friday. An update yesterday, the Water and Sewage Corporation said remediation efforts had already been concluded, but repairs were still ongoing to the damaged infrastructure, saying that their team was currently on site carrying out necessary repairs to a damaged section of a sewer infrastructure. The Water and Sewage Corporation saying that it was committed to completing the repairs as quickly as possible. And Colors Entertainment and Junkin Organization leader Chris Justilian says that his group has been named the official winner of the Boxing Day Junkanoo Parade for the Category B section after the Fancy Dancers were initially declared the winner. The change in results coming after Colors filed a protest over infractions observed during the parade. Justilian saying that they brought a quality product to the parade and they were happy that the parade management team scrutinized what they reported and what they saw. Fancy Dancers was declared the unofficial winner of the B-Division for the 2024 Boxing Day Parade, in what would have been their first victory in more than 2 decades. The change in results after the protest means that Colors is the winner of both the Boxing Day and New Year's Day parades. Justilian says he believes changes should be made to the way parades are judged. Overseas, about 150 military police officers from Central America have arrived in Haiti to reinforce the embattled government's fight against violent gangs that have upended daily life for millions in the Caribbean country. The deployment of around 75 security officers, mostly from Guatemala, was greeted Saturday at Toussaint Louverture International Airport in Port-au-Prince by the Kenyan commander of the UN-backed mission that for months has been struggling to restore order. The officer saying that the gangs only have 2 choices: surrender, lay down their weapons, and face justice, or quote, face us in the field. He said that with the addition of the Guatemalan and El Salvador forces, the gangs will have nowhere to hide. Quote, we will root them out of their enclave. A similar-sized contingent, which also included a small number of forces from El Salvador, traveled aboard a U.S. Air Force aircraft and was greeted Friday by a top Haitian official and U.S. ambassador. And coordinated gang attacks on prisons, police stations, and the main international airport have intensified in Haiti since the 2021 assassination of President Jovenel Moïse. Gangs are estimated to control about 85% of the capital. In what is perhaps the most brazen attack yet, gunmen opened fire on a crowd that gathered on Christmas Eve for the much-anticipated reopening of Haiti's biggest public hospital, which was closed after being rampaged by gangs earlier this year. 2 journalists covering the event and a police officer were killed. Prior to this week's deployment, the international mission seeking to quell the violence was led by about 400 security officers from Kenya, the Bahamas, Bangladesh, Barbados, Benin, and Chad. It isn't clear when some of the others will be sent. Honduras' president threatening to stop her country's cooperation with the U.S. military if President-elect Donald Trump follows through on promised mass deportations. The comments generating political heat at home, even as the U.S. government has remained silent. In a New Year's Day speech from on a national television channel, Xiomara Castro said that if Trump goes ahead with massive deportations, Honduras would reconsider military cooperation with the U.S., saying, quote, faced with a hostile attitude of mass expulsion of our brothers, we would have to consider a change of our cooperation policies with the United States, especially in the military realm. She said the U.S. had maintained a presence in Honduran territory for decades without paying a cent, and if Hondurans are expelled en masse, that presence would cease to have any reason to exist in Honduras. She added that she hoped the Trump administration would be open to dialogue. And the next presidential term in Venezuela is set to begin Friday when the ruling party-controlled Congress hosts a swearing-in ceremony for President Nicolas Maduro, despite serious doubts about the validity of last year's official election results. Maduro is expected to begin a third six-year term amid demonstrations by his supporters, but it's unclear if anyone among the millions who voted for his main challenger, Edmundo Gonzalez, will also protest. Gonzalez, who claimed to have won the July 28th election, left Venezuela for exile in Spain in September after a judge issued a warrant for his arrest. Taking the oath of office will allow Maduro to cement a mishmash of policies that allowed the government to end the scarcities and runaway inflation that dominated most of his 11 years in office. Those measures no longer fulfill his and his predecessors' self-proclaimed socialist promises and continue to strip Venezuela of its democracy. Gonzalez has said he intends to be in Caracas on Friday, but he has not explained how he intends to do so or what his plans are upon arrival. In sports, University at Buffalo Bulls getting a resounding victory in the 9th Bahamas Bowl, winning 26-7 over the Liberty University Flames at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium in Nassau. The game on Saturday attracted Bahamian fans and family members of players like Taji Johnson, whose 30-yard catch stood out in the match. Johnson is a player of Bahamian roots, grandson of the late Bahamian journalist P. Anthony White. Buffalo wrapped up an impressive turnaround season, finishing with a 9-4 win-loss record under first-year head coach Pete Lembo. The Bulls turned last season's 3-9 record around, winning their fourth consecutive bowl game and also taking their second Bahamas Bowl victory, most in the history of the National Collegiate Athletic Association Division I Collegiate Bowl games. Lembo expressing his gratitude. More on that in today's Guardian Sports section. From the NBA, Bahamian sharpshooting star Giovanna Buddy Hield could be on the move again. Caleb Hightower of the Sporting News is reporting that Hield could be in a blockbuster three-team trade involving Miami Heat's disgruntled star Jimmy Butler. On Thursday, Butler claimed he no longer wants to compete with the Heat and was subsequently suspended for 7 games for conduct deemed detrimental to the team's success. Hield has been traded 4 times in the 8.5 years he's played in the NBA and remains valuable trade bait with his three-point shooting ability and instant offense that he could provide as a starter or off the bench. Hield has played primarily off the bench for the Golden State Warriors this season. He was a key cog in their success early in the season when the Warriors were going through injury woes. For the season, Buddy is averaging 12.3 points and 3.3 rebounds per game while shooting 42.9% from the field and 39.4% from three-point range. Earlier this season, he scored his 10,000th point and buried his 2,000th three-point shot in the NBA. Now, with a chance to acquire Butler, it's being reported that the Warriors are aggressively pursuing the Heat's unhappy superstar and an opportunity to mix him with superstar Stephen Curry and Draymond Green to elevate their roster. We'll keep you posted on how this goes. From the NFL, the road to the Super Bowl in the NFC will go through Motown, the Detroit Lions securing a number 1 seed with a 31-9 victory over the Minnesota Vikings Sunday night. Jahmyr Gibbs scored 4 touchdowns to help the Lions with a 15-2 record now clinch the NFC North, earn a first-round bye and home field advantage through the NFC playoffs. The Vikings, which ended their season 14-3, missed an opportunity to overtake Detroit for the top spot and ended up with the 5th seed. They'll play on the road against the number 4 Los Angeles Rams at 10-7 next Monday night. The Denver Broncos and Tampa Bay Buccaneers captured the NFL's final 2 playoff spots early in the day in Week 18. Rookie quarterback Bo Nix led the Broncos to a 38-0 victory over Kansas City's backups, sending Denver to the postseason for the first time since Peyton Manning helped the team win the Super Bowl following the 2015 season. The Buccaneers clinched the NFC South with a 27-19 comeback victory over the New Orleans Saints and earned the number 3 seed when the LA Rams lost to Seattle 30-25. Tampa Bay at 10-7 will host Washington 12-5 in the wild card round next Sunday night. The Broncos got the 7th seed and will visit Buffalo at 13-4 in the first game on Sunday. Denver's victory eliminated Cincinnati and Miami, which lost to the Jets. Green Bay, which lost 24-22 to Chicago, will be the 7th seed and visits number 2 seed Philadelphia on Sunday in the middle game of the playoff triple-header. The Eagles at 14-3 beat the Packers 11-6 in the season opener, 34-29 back in Brazil. The Commanders beat Dallas 23-19 behind backup quarterback Marcus Mariota's 2 touchdown passes. Meanwhile, the AFC's playoff picture became more clear on Saturday when the Baltimore Ravens beat Cleveland to clinch the North, and the number 3 seed, the Chiefs at 15-2, already locked up a first-round bye. The Bills are the number 2 seed, and the Houston Texans are number 4. The LA Chargers beat Las Vegas to get the number 5 seed. The Chargers at 10-7 will play at Houston, also 10-7, in the first wildcard game on Saturday afternoon. The Ravens at 12-5 host the Pittsburgh Steelers 10-7, who lost the final 4 games of the regular season to drop to the number 6 seed Saturday night. The division rivals split the season series. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, we've got an expansive high-pressure system just east of the area. That's going to keep an uneventful weather pattern in place for now, while allowing for some warmer daytime temperatures across some of the country today as it shifts further east into the Atlantic. But a strong cold front will enter the Bahamas tonight, bringing with it some brisk winds and pockets of showers across the northernmost islands. So that cold front is going to race across the Bahamas, ushering in another round of seasonably cool temperatures and a brief injection of fresh winds as high pressure builds behind it. 2 more fronts will move into the area throughout the upcoming week, and the first is going to be a reinforcing cold front that will quickly move into the area on Thursday with just a few changes to the high pressure. And the second front will bring gusty winds, showers, and possible thunderstorms into the area over the weekend, your holiday weekend, Friday, majority rule day, as that crosses across the country late Saturday and Sunday. So we've got a gale watch in effect today for the northern Bahamas. Boaters, especially small craft operators, are urged to seek and remain in safe harbor. And beachgoers are urged to avoid Atlantic beaches and coastlines, as well as waters of the northern Bahamas, as there's a high risk of dangerous rip currents, higher seas, and locally rough surf, especially in Eleuthera near the Queen's Bath. Motorists and pedestrians are also urged to exercise caution while along coastal roads. There could be overtopping waves and sea spray. So for today, your forecast for the northern Bahamas, including Grand Bahama, a mix of sun and clouds, turning partly cloudy to cloudy tonight. About a 10% chance of showers, increasing to 20 to 40% chance tonight, Winds southerly at 10 to 15 knots this morning, but shifting southwest to west at 15 to 25 knots by this afternoon into tonight. For the northwest Bahamas, including New Providence, partly sunny, turning partly cloudy tonight, 10 to 20% chance of showers. Winds southeast to south at 10 to 15 knots, falling or shifting south to southwest at 10 to 15 knots by tonight. For the Central Islands, mostly sunny today, turning mostly fair tonight, less than 10% chance of showers. For the southeast Bahamas, partly to occasionally cloudy, at 10% chance of showers. For the central southeastern parts of the country, winds east to southeast at 10 to 20 knots, gusty at times in the central Bahamas, decreasing to 10 knots or less, falling light variable at times for the Central Islands, and shifting southeasterly at 10 to 15 knots by this afternoon through tonight for the southeastern Bahamas. Temperature-wise today, we're looking at highs around 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to around 60 Fahrenheit, 16 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up in just a bit.
Wake up, it's a new day.
It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or a tech trouble simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100.
This holiday season, give the gift that lasts a lifetime. Financial freedom with CFAL. Whether you're looking to take the stress out of holiday giving or plan for the future, CFAL has you covered. With our suite of savings products, you can start with a minimal upfront investment and low monthly contributions. Get a jump start with 2025 financial goals with CFAL Savings Express. Or give the little ones a head start with the CFAL Education Plan. You can also secure your own future with the CFAL Blue Marlin Retirement Plan. This holiday season, make your gift count with CFAL, where small savings lead to brighter futures. Visit CFAL.com today to start building wealth so you can live well. Happy holidays from all of us at CFAL.
The Water and Sewage Corporation is rolling out new digital meters designed to give you more accurate readings. With advanced technology, you'll be able to monitor your water usage in real time, get more accurate bills and early leak detection to avoid costly surprises. Better service starts now. Watch for our installation team in your neighborhood and get ready to experience the convenience of digital meters. Follow us on our social media platforms for more information. Digital meters from the Water and Sewage Corporation. Innovative, convenient, and designed for you. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome.
It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
This Christmas, Fidelity Bank is still the one. With one easy monthly payment, one fantastic way to save, and one chance to win $5,000 in extra cash. Make that move to Fidelity Bank and apply for a personal loan for a chance to win extra cash today. Call 356-7764 for more details.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. 422-4796 on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796 standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Deandra Cartwright. Happy Monday. Good morning.
Happy Monday. Happy New Year. Happy new show season. Is that what we're going to call this? 2025.
This is the first time I'm seeing you for the year?
Yeah.
It is. Wow.
Yeah. My goodness.
I mean, because, I saw you were here on New Year's Eve. That's just days. That was last year. Wow. Okay.
Yes, last year was last
Happy New Year, Deandra. Oh, wow.
See, I got you to be peppy on a Monday morning.
Hey,
look at that. Hey,
look at that. How's the year treating you so far?
Well, it's just begun. So, so far, so good.
Okay,
I saw this video come in my feed, and I told, it was on one of my friend's status. I said, please send me that. Celebrating the fact that God doesn't have me on the list of trials and tribulations for one of his strongest soldiers of 2025 so far.
How do you know that?
Huh?
How do you know that?
Well, so far, so far.
Oh, okay.
You asked me how
you haven't
2025 is going so
experienced
far.
any, but you don't know if you're on the list or not.
May the
But-
good
but
Lord, I rebuke
you hopefully
everything.
you won't be right.
Yes,
Just
exactly.
asking.
Yes,
You hopefully you
yes.
won't be.
How about you? How's your year been so far?
Hey, I don't even remember that I haven't seen you for the year. So
You living that good?
I guess we're going to be positive. Yes.
See, there you
Yeah, there
go.
you go.
Positivity.
That's what that means. Yes.
It is
great to have
possible,
you with
Dwight.
us as we start another year together. Thank you.
Yes. Happy to be here. Happy to be on Morning Blend. Yay.
We have a lot to talk about this morning. A little bit later, we're going to be doing a postmortem on the Junkanoo season for New Providence mainly. And we've got a lot of folks in here who are very closely connected to Junkanoo. And, we're going to get their views on how things went.
I also have a question for the folks at JCNP on some things.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's officially with the JCNP who's going to be here this morning, but they're definitely with the groups, the major groups. And so,
Okay. Yeah. I mean, just in case anybody
throw it
might be
out
listening.
there.
Just throw it
They
out
might
there.
know the answer. They all...
Possibly. I'll wait until we get to that segment to throw my shade.
So that's coming in. That's in our 8 o'clock hour into business this morning as well.
Okay.
So that's all ahead. But right now, there's a lot to talk about in the news. And in the news, big past few days for the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Lots of big things happening. They had a church service yesterday, but before that, on Friday, the changeover from outgoing Commissioner Clayton Fernander to the new era. Police Commissioner Shanta Knowles, the first female commissioner in the force's history. And
Congratulations to her.
Very much so. Congratulations.
Wishing her strength, blessings, grace, more strength, wisdom, mercy. My gosh, that's a heavy job.
It's going to be tough. This was a rough year last year, 2024, for the police force on many levels, and there's a lot of work to be done, especially to help restore the faith and the trust of the force and the Bahamian people. And she definitely talked about that with her speech on Friday. There's a lot that happened. We want you to hear, if you missed it, take a listen to this report from our Jared Higgs.
Shanta Knowles was officially sworn in as the 10th Commissioner of the Royal Bahamas Police Force today, becoming the first woman to hold the post in the nation's history.
It is indeed an exciting time for female police officers. It took us over 60 years to get here, but I am honored that my experience, training, hard work, and discipline allows us to finally carry the torch across the finish line. Yet, we have no intentions on resting on our laurels because there is a lot at stake. We have a country to protect and an organization to mend.
Knowles, who is 53, has been a member of the Royal Bahamas Police Force since 1990 and previously served as officer in charge of Grand Bahama and the Northern Division. She is a mother of one daughter and has held positions in the Southern Division, Criminal Investigations Department, Family Island Districts of Exuma and Eleuthera, the National Crime Prevention Office, and the Human Resources Department, in addition to serving as commandant of the police reserves. Her experience includes leading the Sexual Offences Squad and the Trafficking in Persons Squad, successfully investigating the first human trafficking case in the country. From 2017 to 2020, she served as the director of the National Crime Prevention Office. She had also worked as a press liaison officer, communicating with the media and the public on behalf of the police force.
I pledge to restore the image of the force through positive change while enforcing the rule of law. A force that all of us can be proud to call our own, and most importantly, a force that is respected here and around the world that engenders public trust.
Knowles takes over from Clayton Fernander, who held the post for approximately 2.5 years. In his farewell address, Fernander said he leaves the force with his head held high and integrity intact. Fernander inspected the honor guard for the final time as the police band played the song My Way by Frank Sinatra.
As I demit office with my head held high, my integrity intact, I shall keep the Lord even closer because he saw me through. He has always been constant in my life. He has directed my path to this point, this position, and he is doing it again as I exit.
Prime Minister Philip Davis congratulated Knowles and reiterated promises to weed out bad apples out of the police force. He expressed confidence in Knowles, telling her that the Bahamian people have faith in her also.
Your ability to combine strategic thinking with a deep understanding of the realities our communities face makes you the right person to steer the force into this new era. Your leadership will be defined by actions that rebuild trust. Trust between the police and the public, trust in our institutions, and trust in the idea that justice will always prevail. Bahamian people need to know that their safety is your highest priority, and no doubt that you will meet this challenge head-on with integrity and unwavering resolve.
Knowles takes over the top post at a time of significant concern over corruption in the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Knowles, who will no doubt have her work cut out for her, pledged to restore the reputation of the police force, both nationally and internationally.
Make no mistake, we will weed out the minority of officers who abuse their authority in an unprofessional manner and engage in criminality. Every officer shall be held accountable for their individual action, and we will take firm, fair, and decisive measures where there are grounds for disciplinary and legal recourse. We are a nation of laws, and none of us are above the law.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Jared Higgs.
Okay, so a lot said there, and there's more in today's Nassau Guardian. Got to pick up today's Nassau Guardian as we get a little insight into some of the changes that new Commissioner Shanton Knowles will bring, or hopes to bring, to the police force. So she's talking about the first 90 days, what she's going to do. Tanika Thompson writing about that. So Knowles says that, quote, within the first 90 days of my official duties as commissioner, I will direct that all police officers and police reserves at every level will complete mandatory training sessions centered on ethics, code of conduct, justifiable force and harm, and abuse of power. That's the big stuff that many have been calling for, right? She says, I will stipulate that all police officers working the front line, this is big, wear and activate their body-worn cameras as a mandatory requirement to document all interactions with members of the public as outlined in policy. People have been saying this forever, right?
We've had several shows talking about that.
All the time. She said the RBPF will transform the way recruitment is carried out to include greater community involvement and a more transparent process of selecting candidates, saying that the process will include rigorous background checks, enhanced psychological evaluations, and integrity assessments. She said, quote, make no mistake, we will weed out the minority of officers who abuse their authority in an unprofessional manner and engage in criminality. Every officer shall be held accountable for the individual action, and we will take firm, fair, and decisive measures where there are grounds for disciplinary and legal recourse. We are a nation of laws, and none of us are above the law. Knowles says that the RBPF will restructure its internal processes to complement its crime-fighting objectives, saying, quote, we are well aware of the threat that exists, fueling the fear of crime in the Bahamas. The proliferation of illegal firearms, the illicit drug trade, illegal gangs, and the rate of murder are prominent on our crime-fighting agenda. She says the RBPF will also expand the Clear, Hold, and Build initiative, which was launched in Englerston last year, and incorporated into wider policing strategies. She also says the force will reestablish the inspection and review branch to ensure that all areas of the police force are functioning at optimum levels. Under her watch, she said the force will review its training modules and transition the RBPF into an organization where constant training opportunities are provided. She also announced the creation of the Shanton Knowles Scholarship Fund, which will be available to all officers who want to continue their education in areas of law enforcement services. Okay. Now, at the ceremony Friday, Prime Minister Philip Davis said the event marks a new era for the police force, adding that he's confident that Knowles is up to the enormous task of leading the RBPF at this critical time. Yeah. All right. So let's get your reaction to it, folks. I want to hear from you on this. And what you heard on Friday, if you were watching or listening, if you were there, maybe you heard the comments from Commissioner Knowles, outgoing Commissioner Fernander, the Prime Minister, and more. How do you feel? How do you feel? Are you confident that this is going to be a new way forward, a new era for the force, that there can be the changes that we talked about last week, because we had a discussion on what you think is needed on the path on the part of the commissioner to turn things around? And are you feeling optimistic today? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Let's go to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning to your guest.
Hi, good morning.
Happy New Year.
Same to you.
I don't feel anything right now in regards to what happened on Friday. I just feel that, like the rest of us Bohemians, we just need answers to all the unanswered questions surrounding this government and what's going on with the corruption situation. I just feel that sometime this week, the incoming commissioner needs to say what exactly is going on with the senior commissioner who just resigned and all the other cases that are ongoing.
Well, with that one, you mean the head of CID, right? That's what you mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's now in the hands of the deputy of the director of public prosecution. So it's
it's up still the government. Someone needs to say something.
Well, it's up. You mean
the beginning of the year now? The former commissioner said he would say something last year.
No. It's now moved to the director of public prosecutions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to the DPP to say whether she's going to press charges, if there are charges, if there's something in there. So we're waiting for that person. Yes, but it's out of the hands for now of the police force.
But she is a government official, correct?
The DPP?
Yeah.
Independent, but yeah, we're going to wait to see if there are charges. Mm-hmm.
Okay, buddy.
I mean, this is where we need it to be. So yeah, hopefully it won't be long.
Hopefully it comes to a resolution quickly. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
So we see something. We get something.
Yes.
That's all I want.
We're all hoping for that. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy.
Okay, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
Wonderful. Happy Monday. Well, you know, the GNN on the ground, it don't get much lower than me unless you're having a Werner. GNN, Ghetto News Network. Wow. I commend Ms. Shanta Knowles. I was the first out the gate several weeks ago last year and congratulating her because I know Ms. Shanta Knowles personally, and I know she's a no-nonsense woman. Don't mind that smooth talk. She's a no-nonsense commissioner. She's going to be. So I commend her. And sometimes my grandma used to tell me, son, Mr. Johnson, sometimes the best man for the job is a woman. Now, only thing we need to do now is wait for the woman prime minister. Okay. You understand? Because we got the governor general, we got the woman this and the woman that, now a woman commissioner. We just need a woman a prime minister. Thanks for taking my call.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Continue to call in. Text us, 422-4796. Got a few text messages here, Deandra. This person says here, power is never given. Is this for us? No, this is not for us. I don't know what this is. Okay. That's odd. This person says here, while the Boxing Day parade... Oh, it's junking already. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a bit. Why does the Prime Minister choose the commissioner and deputies? At least allow the commissioners to choose their own deputies. It's long time past the commissioner post being removed from being an appointment. Okay. What do you think it should be? You think it should be... an elected official? How do you think
by whom?
it
They're
work?
actually saying that it shouldn't be appointed by the PM, but appointed by the commissioner.
Well, they don't want the deputies appointed by the prime minister, but you also don't want the commissioner appointed by the prime minister. Okay. Well, you want people to
So then
run.
what would that look like then?
I guess how they do it in some other places where you vote for the sheriff, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but this we can't be trying to apply that's municipal powers onto. You can't copy that over into our system.
I've been saying this for years that we need to do a show on this because people keep saying this about the attorney general being elected, about the chief of police, well, the police commissioner being elected. There are lots of pros and cons to all of these systems. I think you're looking for some trouble, especially with judges. You're looking for trouble if you like them. But we've got to discuss it so people can see why this might not be what you want.
And I think it'll be important for that conversation to have the comparison. If we're going to be comparing to the American system, we have to also, I think, have a better appreciation of the levels of systemic actions that they have over there. So if you're talking about the legislature, the legal systems, that they have over there, or if we're talking about the police, let's talk about the police. You spoke about sheriff. That's the sheriff of a county. A county has a certain amount of persons. And if you apply that to our context, we're talking about like an island, right? So it doesn't operate in the same way. So it has to be contextual to what is our Bahamian reality. So what we see works inside a different country, works because their country has a certain type of dimension going on.
It's structured differently.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be an automatic mirroring there.
Yeah. And you're looking for trouble in many regards, but we'll discuss it. We've got to find the right
we should actually have
people.
like a show on that.
No, I've been saying it for years, actually. I've never done it because it's hard to find the right people who can put this into the right context. But we got to work on it.
Talking about the police, I mean, so police,
they keep saying,
local government administrators, the magistrate circuit system and things like that. So, I mean, if you want to look at county level, a county would be almost equivalent to Family Island type thing going on, but it's not the same thing, right? No. And a county inside the U.S. could be thousands and thousands of people. You looking at a Family Island, and again, everybody know I'm from Long Island. Long Island got less than 3,500 people. That is no way equivalent to some of these major counties in the U.S. of A. But yet, the governance system would be a similar thing. It just, how do you? I think we have to illustrate it. We have to start from the ground up and like maybe have like charts and things like that just to try to build it out. Yeah. But I mean, at least persons are paying attention to what goes on in other countries. But I will also say we have to take a step back and perhaps not focus on what happens solely in the US of A, but we have to look at places who are set up similarly to us. Yeah. Those that have been, who would have been colonized by the UK and whatnot, right?
All right, so there's one thing. I don't know if there's necessarily a problem with, in this regard, the Prime Minister appointing the commissioner, but here's the thing.
Okay.
In other places, you would have serious vetting going on, right? So either there'd be a House committee or the Senate. They would grill this person, and you'd really have to see if you are up to the standard.
Happen.
And
that should happen.
That doesn't happen
But then
here.
the thing is we spoke about this last week, you still, and persons call in, they texted, it's inside the commentaries all the time. If your members of parliament still don't actually declare at the beginning of the year what they're worth, what they have, things like that, if literally the people running the country are not doing what they're supposed to do, then why is the expectation, or how could there be an expectation for anybody else to do the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, I am totally for us to do the public vetting process, and that would actually help the public to have a stronger trust inside these persons. And again, this conversation is in no way taking away from the appointment of the new commissioner. It's not about her in any way. So please, my commentary has nothing to do with her integrity at all.
Just the system.
We're just saying this, like the system. But, and again, we discussed this last week. This is the beginning of the year. When was the last time you actually saw the declarations from any of the government officials? The current administration has been, and by the administration, I'm talking about the FNM and the PLP, all of you who were elected. We're going in how many years now? We don't even have full declarations.
Well, we always are told some did, some will meet the deadline, some did, we never find out who didn't. And it's always a mystery, and it's been going on like this forever. And the people they appoint to this
and this is not, but then again, I mean,
real joke.
But you mentioned the committees as well, right? Mm-hmm. How the U.S. is set up in certain cases. You have the Senate hearings, you have all these different committees, and there have reports, right? The House of Assembly also has committees, right? Mm-hmm. But we don't hear about some of them are public with what they are doing, but we're not hearing enough from them. Now, we can't use the excuse that, our people may not like to read lengthy reports. It would not make it palatable in a way that they could understand, right? So they could appreciate it. But either way, have the information going out there. It goes back to building trust, about sharing information, about being accountable, being transparent. But I think us as a people, we have to demand that. We have to request that. And the thing is that these things are not non-existent. They are there. And when we actually, I encourage everybody all the time, I'm like, just look and explore, find out the documents that govern us as a people. Why does the PM have to appoint the commissioner? Check the rules and regulations.
Yeah. Let's take this call. And good morning, call. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Yes. Reference to your conversation right now, in our country, we always have an overwhelming majority in regards to the governing party. So the opposition, who usually would would say that they don't want this person. They only have like 4 or 5 people. So the majority would usually win in any effect anyway in our system. Correct?
I hear you. Yeah, I know where you're going. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't think that'll work over here because the aim is usually picked overwhelmingly for whatever major party that they're voting for, and it has no conversation in the House to say that the opposition really has that kind of power in recent times to actually stop or prevent something from happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess they can, what do they call it? They take the whip off and you allow folks to vote their conscience and how they feel, right? I mean, that can be done in this regard.
Exactly. All right, just want to
but
mention
they
that.
rarely use that. But yeah, I hear you. Thank you very much.
I
but
wish the
that
world
could
worked
be
that way.
Yeah.
I wish our people worked that way. I wish
Mm-hmm.
our society worked that way. But we're still inside a society where you can put, I mean, people still saying they're looking for the T-shirts with the money in it and whatnot, but you have buy-offs, payoffs, and things like that happening all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
We're talking about integrity, but where is it as us as voters, as people?
It's quite something. Let's take some more calls before we have to take a break. Good morning. You're on the air. Hi. Good morning. Hi, caller. Are you there?
Hey, good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
Happy New Year to the Bahamas again. Nice show this morning, Dwight. You started them hot. Dwight, my thing is this, right? I hope this commissioner of police be the last one who is appointed. With me, right? I feel that commissioner of police don't have to be a police. He can be a retired custom officer, immigration officer, et cetera, who know the system and who can have clean hand and who can run the force like a force. And Dwight, you know something? I give the lady a chance. I give her 3 months, like I normally do, right? And I hope she'll be ready to lock up some of the parliamentarians because according to our constitution, half of them parliamentarians shouldn't be allowed to go in the House Assembly. They haven't declared yet. They shouldn't be paid. See, we need to stop playing this country, and we need to start governing this country from top down. You know what I mean? From top down, And the Bahamas is a rich country, and I can't see why we know this conundrum, man. And thanks for taking my call, my brother.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Wow. Let's take another call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Strachan, and good morning, Ms. Cartwright.
Hi. Good morning.
I agree with the last caller, and I kind of agree with GNN too when he was saying that maybe the best person for the job is a female, but only for the reason that the times that we're living in, that in these times that men are easily corrupted when they get that power. You know what I mean? They fall into the trappings of temptations of womanizing and then on top of that too, men kind of crave like that power and that wealth more than women. You know what I mean? Women don't crave to have that power and that money like how men crave that power and that money. So
I don't think this is accurate at all, what you're saying.
Absolute power corrupts and absolute power corrupts. Absolutely, that's kind of true in our time because of the way the men were raised and the mentality that they have. But I personally believe that men are best to lead because men are more logical than women. I'm not trying to say women are not logical, but I believe that the most logical person in the world, if you could pinpoint them, it will be a man.
This is very insulting to everybody.
All right. Now,
I don't know.
But I mean, we know that we have been taught that men are more logical and women are more emotional. We've been taught this. That's scientific fact, and that's how they say it. So I mean,
Where's that science? Where's the science? You said the scientific fact. Can you supply me with the data? Can you tell me where that's from?
Come on now, come on.
How long? No, seriously.
It really is.
That's
I
flawed
gotta stop
information.
you. I gotta stop you. This is all foolishness, and to say that men are more materialistic is also complete nonsense. So I mean, come on, we're dealing with individuals here. We need to be mature and realize that they're going to be very logical women, and very illogical men, and very materialistic women, and very not materialistic men. You're going to get everything. So this is crazy. Let's hope that this is the last time it matters whether the commissioner is a woman or a man. It's great that this is the first woman, but after this, let's hope that we never speak like this again. We just hope that we get the best commissioner, always, right? Regardless of whether they are a man or a woman. How about that? Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
How you doing, sir?
Doing well.
Morning, Bahamas. Dwight, I think there's a caller before that caller. Fine, understand what I was saying. You need to start dealing with the top, go down, because like I said, Mr. Strachan, if you deal with the top, then let the top know there's no nonsense going on. We ain't gonna take this no more. The bottom will fall right in line. You can't start from the bottom, go up. Water don't run uphill. Water just run downhill. So when you start locking up and dealing with the people with the big problems, the small problems will heal themselves. Anyway, have a good day.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, it would be good if you could deal with both at the same time. We don't have enough manpower for that. We don't have enough skill and ability to do all those things. The small things, the big things, all the things. We need to deal with that.
I'm just going back to the first one of our earlier callers about the appointments and whatnot of the police commissioner and how that happens and whatnot. So Constitution, Chapter 8, Public Service, Part 1. This is 119, which states that power to make appointments to the office of Commissioner of Police and Deputy Commissioner of Police shall be vested in the Governor General, acting on the recommendation of the Prime Minister after consultation with the Leader of the Opposition. 2. Save as provided under paragraph 1 of this article, power to make appointments to the office in the police force of or above the rank of Assistant Commissioner is also vested in the Governor General, acting on recommendation of the Prime Minister after consultation with the Police Service Commission.
I think these people want a constitutional change. But again, what they're asking for might be much worse than what they get now. Let's take this call, and then we're going to go to the break. Good morning. You're on the air.
Pleasant good morning, Dwight. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Good morning.
Happy New Year to you and your guests.
Same to you. Same to you.
You and I have had this conversation about the members of the public or the citizenry electing departmental and governmental heads as opposed to the power of the Prime Minister. We wanted to be successful. Some of the things happening in our communities, they need to be addressed. But it seems like it's much ado about nothing because from day one, unfortunately, she is limited. If there's a member of parliament, your co-host said something about people waiting on the T-shirts. Integrity is personal, and that's fine. But how many members or candidates you think would feel is free to handle those T-shirts with the money if they knew that a commissioner of police that could not be manipulated, threatened, concerned, would investigate them and throw them in jail for violating the election laws? She's limited. If we wanted to be successful, it's got nothing to do with the person in the chair. It has to do with our system. Thanks for allowing me to call.
Okay. All right. Well, also the people, too. The people so willing to accept what comes in those T-shirts. And yet, right? Willing to accept it, but 5 years later, what do you have to show for it, right? Yet it continues. You want to squeeze that in? Yeah, let's do that before we go to the break. Good morning, caller. You are on the air live.
Morning, Dwight.
Hi.
GNN. I had to call back after 2 callers ago, man. I wonder if people in life realize that we have a father and a mother. You think they realize that, Dwight? And that there are some things that us men can do, or some things that women can do in this life that men just can't do. You think they believe in that, Dwight?
Some do, some don't. I guess.
Jesus, Lord, man. Listen, let me preach to the nation for 2 seconds. The scriptures, if you believe in it, says that the Christ or the Creator is the head of the church. Okay? It says that the man is the head of his home. It ain't say nothing but a woman or man can't get a job out there as a commissioner of police. It says the head of your household, your home. That don't mean a woman or a man can't go out there and qualify themselves. It's just a job, Jesus. What they don't understand but that? It's when your home go awry, then you can start pointing the fingers at this one and that one. Okay, nation? Stop that nonsense, man. Anybody could go to college and get themselves could become an airline pilot or a bus driver or a commissioner of police if qualified, man. Thanks for taking my call.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much. All right. We got to grow up. We got to grow up. Something is, I don't know what's happening. I don't know why we're like this, but it's really odd. Really odd. We've got a whole lot of your text messages to get to. We can get to that after the break. This is Morning Blend on a Monday morning here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
night, thinking about me every night. Oh, isn't that sweet? I guess so. Say you can't sleep, baby, I know that's that me espresso. Move it up, down, left, right, oh, switch it up like Nintendo. Say you can't sleep, baby, I know that's that me espresso. I can't relate to desperation. Might give a damn, are on vacation. And I got this one boy, and he won't stop calling when they act this way. I know I got him. Too bad your ex don't do it for you. Walked in and dream came true for you. Soft skin and not perfume for you. Yes, I know I'm not into it for you. Yes,
RBC. Life is full of twists, turns, and defining moments that create your own unique story. However your story unfolds, we're here to help guide you through it. From every big decision to every new adventure, RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/all of you.
It's time for your first look at traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Find your loan solution with RBC. In your real-time traffic, we're expecting quite a difference from what you've been seeing over the past couple of weeks, as many are heading back to work and schools are reopening today. And definitely we are seeing that difference already. Heavy traffic in your usual hot spots. Traffic on Mile Butler Highway, well south of Bellot Road, straight through Fire Trail and all the way up to Tawny Williams Darling Highway. That's going to be quite a lot you're going to have to deal with this morning. Traffic backed up both directions on Fire Trail as well. And Tawny Williams Darling Highway, seeing some heavy traffic westbound to that roundabout with Mile Butler Highway. Elsewhere, we've got Blue Hill Road and Carmichael eastbound, slow-moving eastbound traffic. Blue Hill Road, busy for you near St. Vincent, near Carmichael, and Soldier Road, straight through to Independence Drive if you're heading northbound. And heavy traffic on Independence Drive eastbound to East-West Highway and East Street roundabout. East Street busy for you north and south of the Soldier Road intersection. Prince Charles Drive, you're going to be seeing heavy traffic in the major intersections, especially as you get closer to Beatrice Avenue if you're heading westbound. And then closer to Soldier Road, straight through to Robinson, you're not moving from Soldier straight through to Marathon Road if you're heading westbound. Marathon Road and Soldier Road northbound, heavy traffic for you as well. And Eastern Road, that heavy westbound traffic is back from St. Susie straight up to Johnson Road if you're heading westbound. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC. Start a conversation at rbc.com/loan/all of you. And time for another check of your weather for today. We've got an expansive high-pressure system just east of the area. That's going to keep an uneventful weather pattern in place for at least the next couple of days, while allowing for warmer daytime temperatures across portions of the area today. That high-pressure system will shift further east into the Atlantic over the next couple of days, and that's going to help a strong cold front to enter the Bahamas tonight, bringing with it brisk winds and pockets of showers across the northernmost islands. So that cold front is going to raise across the islands, and that's going to bring another round of seasonably cool temperatures and a brief injection of fresh winds as high pressure builds behind it. Two more fronts will move into the area throughout the upcoming week as we head into the holiday weekend. The first will be a reinforcing cold front that will quickly move through on Thursday. Then the second front will bring gusty winds, showers, and possible thunderstorms for your weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Beachgoers being urged to avoid Atlantic waters and coastlines, as well as waters in the northern Bahamas, as there's a high risk of dangerous rip currents. And there could be some rough surf, especially for portions of Eleuthera. Motorists and pedestrians are urged to exercise caution while along coastal roads. We've got a gale watch that's going to come into effect for the northern Bahamas, and boaters, especially small craft operators, are urged to seek and remain in safe harbor. So for today, for the northern Bahamas, a mix of sun and clouds, turning partly cloudy tonight. For the rest of us in the northwest Bahamas, including New Providence, partly sunny today, partly cloudy tonight. For the central Bahamas, mostly sunny today, turning mostly fair tonight. And for the southeastern islands, partly to occasionally cloudy. Look for high temperatures near 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 60 Fahrenheit, 16 Celsius. In your extended outlook for tomorrow, Tuesday, partly cloudy to cloudy, about a 10 to 20% chance of showers. Wednesday, partly sunny, turning mostly fair at night. And Thursday, before majority rule day on Friday, look for partly sunny to sunny conditions, turning fair at night. That's your Morning Blend weather check. We'll be back with more Morning Blend after these messages and after the news here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Try to rest, roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers, for window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it, just give us a call. At Print Masters, bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
On Saturday, February 22nd, 2025 at 7 p.m., the Bahamar Convention Center will set the stage for an unforgettable celebration of 25 years of giving back and supporting healthcare education in the Bahamas. Experience a night of excitement with exquisite fine dining, captivating live entertainment, and an inspiring atmosphere as we come together to celebrate and shape a brighter, healthier future. Tickets are available now. Reserve your spot today by emailing dhfoundation@doctorshosp.com or calling 242-302-4640. Sponsorship opportunities are also available to show your support for this important cause. The Doctors Hospital Maya Rassin Foundation. 25 years of transforming healthcare and building a legacy. Don't miss this special celebration.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the Know-How team at 396-1101.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
What? You don't know what TDC is? Tourism Development Corporation? You mean the Ministry of Tourism? No, that ain't the same thing, buddy. The Tourism Development Corporation helps to develop and grow behemoth businesses in the tourism industry. You hear what I say, boy? Oh, yeah. Develop and grow. You don't know what all the things they do? What does do? Check the website, boy.
Start your journey to ownership of our #1 industry today. Log on to tdcbahamas.com.
A moment from Shelley and Dee Dee.
We're the only full art store in the Bahamas. If we don't have it, we make a list, and trust me, our boss can get that. If you need that, he can get that. You can find sketchbooks, acrylics, the canvases in all sizes, stencils. We have the Angelus that they use on shoes and letters. We're the only persons in Nassau that carries the Montana spray. We have Krylon sprays, watercolor and paints, the oil, chalk paints, the alcohol paint, metallic paints, the little Floetrol, and we have cleaning products for the artists, thinning products for the artists, and Crayola colors, and Posca markers, and pastels, oil, and and the acrylic pastels, dyes. Oh yeah. We also have airbrush paint. I didn't forget that part of the movie. Gift sets, hobby craft,
Oil, shrimp,
glaze.
stew, shrimp gumbo. But art supplies. We have a lot of them. Sherwin-Williams Art Store. Find colour in every day.
Wake up, it's a new day.
Your health just got brighter with Lamp Insured. Sign up for Doctors Hospital's Lamp Insurance Supplement Plan and enjoy copay waivers and complete access with no upfront ER or inpatient collections. Only $30 per month. Visit doctorshosp.com/lamp to sign up or contact 242-822-1009. That's 242-822-1009. Your journey to affordable and worry-free healthcare begins now.
The holidays are here, and Dunkin' is spreading the cheer this season. Let Dunkin' be a part of your celebrations. Warm up with your favorite holiday drinks, grab a box of our famous donuts for your gatherings, or treat someone special to a Dunkin' gift certificate, the gift that always runs on joy. From our Dunkin' family to yours, we wish you a season filled with laughter, love, and a whole latte happiness. Happy holidays! And remember, the Bahamas runs on Dunkin'.
Pray that I don't give up, pray that I'll do my best. Pray that I can lift up, pray my brother is blessed. Praying for enough, pray Virgilia wins. Pray I judge nobody and forgive me my sins. I pray we make it, pray my friend to pull through. Pray as I take it, unto others I do. Praying on your love, we pray with every breath. Though I'm in the valley of the shadow of death. And so we pray for someone to come and show me the way. And so we pray for some shelter and some records to play. And so we pray we'll be singing Mariah. Pray that we make it to the end of the day. And so
we are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with DeAndre Cartwright on this Monday morning. Is this the first Monday? It is, right? First Monday of 2025.
Indeed.
Day
6.
Yeah. Wow. We are talking about what's in the news, talking about the new Commissioner of Police, Shanton Knowles, promising to weed out the bad apples in the force and doing a lot of big things in the first 90 days in office and getting a reaction to everything that happened on Friday and over the weekend. And you can continue to call us, 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. You can call us toll-free as well, 242-300-5720. Okay, we've got a lot of your text messages to get to. Let's get through these. This person says here, so we read this one already, right? Why does the PM choose the commissioner and deputies? At least allow the commissioner to choose the deputies. We were talking about this off here, how that could be potentially a dangerous situation.
Yes.
Next thing you know, you got to...
Leading to possible militarization,
right.
Different pathways to different other forms of governance that we may not be familiar with.
Right. You could easily have a problem, maybe a coup or something, if the commissioner gets to choose all their top-ranking officials. I don't know if that is necessarily what you want.
I wonder, folks, if we remember, too, that during that very short period, after the House is dissolved and before we have... the swearing in and all that good stuff, just shortly before that, the commissioner is actually in charge of the country. Random fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yes, that is right. This person says here, all those words were fluff and fluff and fluff. I still can't believe they can give these speeches with a straight face. It's very dark and cynical. Okay, it is until you start to work, right? So we'll see. Let's see after 90 days. What's what? They changed the top cop, but the national security minister is still there. He should have been one of the first to go. Do a real reset for 2025. Okay, that's a text. The real litmus test for me on whether there is real change at the top of the force will be the declarations of MPs and officials and whether those breaches of the law will continue to be excused or we will actually see charges It's the most obvious thing to show there ain't no more favorites when it comes to the law. Okay. Interesting. This person says here, should not be about friends, family, and lovers when it comes to appointing the right person for the job. Appointing, you're trying to say. Appointing the right person. Wow. Okay. Are they going to... this is very specific here. Prime Minister Davis keeps talking about turning the page, starting off fresh. How are they going to do this in the right way? How could they investigate themselves? We need external forces in here. Okay. We are a duplicitous country. No consequences for the politician who does not declare assets, but the business that misses a VAT filing is shut down. Dwight, the new woman commissioner of police, will resign before the end of the year. She will be undermined. Wow. This is, oh my gosh. Okay. Dwight, why not have elections among the police officers and let them choose their commissioner?
Powerful.
That's crazy. Sure. Yeah, let the kids at the school pick the principal. Why not let that? Yeah, sure. Okay. We are a democracy, right? Or not? You're very funny. You're very funny. What? Oh, my God. Oh, boy. The first thing we need from the commissioner is a public report on how the senior officer in charge of all airports, the Police Staff Association chief, and the chief petty officer were all able to run a cocaine smuggling enterprise for 4 years undetected.
Rough.
Okay. Yeah, March was an initiative geared at ensuring that persons who failed the police entrance requirements were kept from a life of crime and afforded an opportunity to enter the police force. We do not need criminally minded people being assisted onto the police force. To the new commissioner, great words, but so far these are just words. Well, it's only been like day 2. Come on. The investigation into the high-ranking politician will tell us how seriously the new commissioner is on fighting crime. Well, I mean, I don't know if that's going to come necessarily before them as yet, right? We don't know anything about this, right? The U.S. hasn't said who that is. And I don't know if we want to waste resources with the police trying to determine what someone says might be someone who could, because again, mouth can say anything, right?
But we see that every day. We see that every day. Every year.
Tons of unsolved crimes, right? Anyway. Folks, yeah. Anyway, I'm not sure. Let's take these calls really quickly. Good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight, and to your guest.
Hi, good morning.
I just have a question. Do they promote and dismiss officer according to the Police Act? Is that a part of the act that only the government can dismiss senior officer and dismiss them, promote them and dismiss them?
The government or the commissioner?
Or the prime minister?
No, the government, because the government is the one who normally appoint them and dismiss them.
So
you're talking about the commissioner. That's what you're talking about.
The commissioners, yes, and these senior officers.
Well,
like Michael Johnson. Okay, when he was dismissed, wasn't the government a part of that?
He resigned.
He resigned.
Mm-hmm. So it's a little different. It's a little different. What are you asking, really?
Referring for the government to step in. That's why he was there for so long.
Well, we don't know what's going on here, right? So we don't have the answers yet. We were all wondering what that was about.
Okay, when it comes to appointing commissioner, is it a part of the act that only the government can appoint them? Or they appointed or
as opposed
elected?
to who? What do you mean? The prime minister. The prime minister. Yeah. Yes, that's how it works. As opposed to who? What do you mean?
I mean, as opposed to like promote it.
No.
Like for let's say the commissioner who was mine already, right, Mr. Fernando. Let's say he promote who was next in line or whatever. Couldn't he have made that decision to appoint?
No.
The next person? No.
Deandra just read the Constitution. That's in the Constitution. The Prime Minister, well,
the
Governor General
on advice
on the advice of the Prime Minister. Yeah, sure. So the Prime Minister does it. No, it isn't next in line you become. Not like that. No, that's not how it works. Okay, let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, good morning.
Yeah, Dwight, this is my first call for the year.
Welcome. Happy New Year.
Yeah, and to you and to your guest. Dwight, I believe the question the lady is trying to get across, right, is because why we in this country we are going along. You know, my favorite word with the status quo, right? Because at the end of the day, Dwight, right, we then pulled 5, 6 commissioners prior to this one, right? They had no power to make no decision, to bring no changes to the police force or to the crime situation we have in this country.
I don't think that's
So-
accurate. That,
right, but
maybe
if
you
you-
didn't like what they did,
Right,
but I think they
understand
really.
what you're trying to say, but
yeah.
I mean, you could give me some examples to what any of those commissioners did that we could fall on right now and say, yeah, let's follow this what the commissioner did, right? Especially if they made their own decision and did it, right? And because this country is not operating like that, we know. All the respect to the lovely commissioner lady. Right, no disrespect to her at all, right? But let's be real. The Bahamas is a country that's operated by the Prime Minister, right? Word, and whoever he determines to be, whatever in this country, that's the only way it happens. We have to break this system, right? We need to break this system and bring in a real democracy system where people have more to say rather than just the Prime Minister, Dwight, right? Because I mean, what is this lady's going to do? She's going to take directives like all of the rest of the commissioner did from the Prime Minister and the National Security Officers. There was going to be no change until the system changed, Dwight. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Okay. All right. People not being very optimistic, unfortunately, it seems. Wow, that's sad. Let's take this call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Ms. Cartwright. Good morning, Dwight of Bahamas.
Hi, good morning.
Right, just a couple of points. First of all, right, I hear the expression that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. That's not true. Power does not corrupt. Power reveals. It reveals the person they pretended not to be because they did not have the power. Okay? So if a person is corrupt, if non-corrupt, it doesn't make them corrupt because they have power. However, it does reveal them. Now, the Constitution aspect that you guys speak of, the problem is that we live in the Constitution rather than the laws that support the Constitution. We could create laws that sets the requirement for choosing 1, 2, or 3 individuals and then have the Prime Minister choose from amongst them. And so we keep, if you look at the laws, the Constitution is to protect and set the guidelines for the laws. But in the Bahamas, for 51 years, we keep saying the Constitution say, the Constitution say. The Constitution is the blueprint for building laws. And long as you don't violate those tenets, the laws can exist. Now, on the commissioner, I congratulate the commissioner and I support you that hopefully going forward we no longer would have to designate a male commissioner or a female commissioner of police. We just simply say the next commissioner of police or whatever. But my concern, Dwight, is that her job may be exasperated considering on the 21st Donald Trump policies taken into effect.
What do you mean by that?
Get a news net. Huh?
What do you mean by that? With the number of
That's
people who will be deported here?
The Get a News Network talk to you about the fake passports and IDs and stuff in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is as part of your news. You have a guy with a fake passport who got it using a fake nationalization card, right? You have no information as to resolution, as to how it is done, what has been done. Remember, this is supposed to be the new technology to stop. We're supposed to have digitization, supposed to stop all of these, all the whole verification process. But they couldn't verify a fake in a nationalization place. Isn't the passport office and the place where the nationalization certificate is kept in the same place? They are.
Interesting,
right?
Yeah.
So, but here's the point. Let me be sure on this. Here's the point. If you listen to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, he says at any given time, about 75,000 nationals from non-Bahamians, from Haiti and other places is transferred to the Bahamas, whose complete goal is the United States. Here's the problem. We have an agreement in place that says that if the country of origin does not take back those individuals, they will be returned to the place of embarkment. Okay? So just think about the housing exasperated, the criminals and other things that would be sent back to the Bahamas with no housing, no jobs, or anything else, and nothing else.
Yeah.
What do you think happened?
It's going to be interesting.
Into a crisis.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting few months here, definitely. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's get to these messages. Call we'll get to in a second. This person says, hey, so are we going to see a new 90-day crime-fighting plan by the new commissioner of police? We pray for success, but does this suggest that the previous crime-fighting plans were failures? So, I mean, what she's saying here, though, is, I'm going to get back to your text in a minute, but she's saying 90 days with reforms for the police force, mainly, right? And that the requirement that they all wear body cams and keep them on, right? And the training for the officers to undergo training in how to deal with the public, which has been a major problem for a long time here, right? So the ethics and the code of conduct and all using justifiable force and harm, retraining everybody. So yes, it is a part of crime fighting, but she's saying that there's something that we need to do internally to help us in the crime fight, and that's very important. Everyone's been saying that. Everyone's been saying that. So yeah, I think you all are getting a little ahead of yourselves. I really do. Anyway, they're going to say, does this further suggest that the New Day government is laying these failures at the feet of the outgoing commissioner of police? Only if you want it to mean that. Okay. But we know that there needs to be changes within the police force. Everybody knows this, especially after 2024, when so much of what people suspected came to light. So this has to happen, and more needs to happen. But if it works, it's a promising start. It could be a promising start. Let's say it like that. This person says that every civil sergeant or assistant director or higher is supposed to declare as well. Every person in the 5 armed forces is supposed to declare. We're going to need a larger prison. Only the prime minister or opposition leader can instruct the police to arrest non-filers. I feel like they're using this as smoke and mirrors. What is this? Who's they? They don't look over there. Look at our shiny new woman over here. Wow. Oh boy.
So you're saying that she's a token piece?
Lord.
What?
Lord. I mean, is it working on you? Who's that working on? If that's what you think, it's not going to work. So I mean, okay. Somebody might think that, but that's crazy. I heard what Ms. Cartwright read about the act pertaining to the Commissioner of Police, but I doubt that the Governor General chose the Ms. Knowles. Well, you know better, so let's stop pretending. That's what we got to do in 2025. Stop pretending, right? It's the Prime Minister. We know that. The Governor General only acts on the recommendation of the Prime Minister, who gets to pick everything that happens in the place. I'm not concerned about her gender. I don't know if she's capable, and will not compromise, will be effective. I want to know. I want to know if she will be and carry out the execution of her duties. And we will see. Everybody who has in this position was given the chance to prove themselves, and she should be given that chance as well, right? Dwight and Deandra, is there any truth that the Prime Minister appointed the outgoing commissioner to an ambassadorship abroad? Oh.
I guess we'll all find out.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Dwight, we've been taught about the way men versus women think. I never said I had an issue with the new Commissioner of Police. You all need to go research the truth and come back on this radio and state it. This is that caller, I believe. No matter how much you may not like the facts, Dwight, you should never misrepresent or penalize someone for speaking it. These are not facts, Texter. Come on now. And how GNM missed the parts in the Bible that forbids women in leadership. Okay, I'm going to stop right now. I'm going to throw this vote across this room. Because, oh, Jesus, Lord. Are there no experienced women to appoint as deputy commissioner? You don't have to respond to everything. Let's just move on. This person is here. So the Prime Minister decided that the new woman commissioner of police doesn't truly have his unrelenting confidence, so he appoints an additional assistant or deputy commissioner of police. Oh, that's what you took from that? That's what you got out of that? Wow. Can't wait for the additional deputy prime minister to do the same as...
What?
That's funny. That was funny. Okay. That was kind of funny. Sorry. Whoa. All right. I'm going to stop reading texts. This is New Year, same old text line. On the last text that you read, that individual feels that the present commissioner will resign in the not too distant future. I feel like they would like to choose who they want to be in that position so that they can commit chaos, I think I'm editing, without any consequences. Oh, interesting. Okay. I agree. Time to stop pretending the government isn't it and it needs to go. Okay. I'm a 15-year-old female RBDF veteran. I took the day off to be a part of history. Shannon Knowles is indeed the best man for the job. Her speech demonstrates she will transform the force. It was a proud moment for women in uniform and the country. Commissioner of Police Shannon Knowles will set a new standard of excellence for the police force. I applaud her courage and for breaking the glass ceiling. Good call, Mr. Prime Minister. Okay. All right. And this text says, I think the new commissioner of police will do well if the others in command do their jobs. Well, everybody needs to do their part, including the public, right, to make all of this work, or make our country do better in total, in general. This person says, I love the statement that power reveals once power is obtained rather than corrupts. I saw this with my own eyes. Yeah. Okay. Interesting text messages. It's going to be an interesting first 90 days for the new commissioner, but we do wish her well. We're going to take a break, folks. When we come back, we're changing gears. We are doing a post-mortem on the Junkin' News season. We've got some Junkin' News with us. They're going to tell us from their perspective what they thought of Boxing Day and New Year's and everything in between and around it. That's coming up in just a bit. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
With all the cards you've been dealt in life, pray I speak my truth and keep my sisters alive. So for the ones who parted seas, for the ones who's following dreams, for the ones who knock down doors and allowed us to pass down keys, pray that we speak with a tongue that is honest and that we understand how to be modest. Pray when she looks at herself in the mirror, she sees a queen, she sees a goddess.
This holiday season, stay connected to the ones you love with Alive. Switch today and get 5 gigabytes of data free with your first 30-day plan. Whether you're sharing holiday moments or enjoying Jonkanuwan Bay, Alive keeps you connected all season long. Visit BeAlive.com to make the switch today. It's good to be alive.
This Christmas, Fidelity Bank is still the one. One easy monthly payment, the only one with a quick approval, and one chance to win an extra $5,000 in cash. Apply for a personal loan today for your chance to win big. Call 356-7764 for more details and make that move to Fidelity Bank today.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
RBC.
It's good for all of you.
Life is full of twists, turns, and defining moments that create your own unique story. However your story unfolds, we're here to help guide you through it. From every big decision to every new adventure, RBC.
It's good for all of you.
Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/all of you.
Are you craving that fresh, famous food, but don't want to break the bank? Wendy's has got you covered. You can now enjoy the $5 Dave's deal at all participating Wendy's locations. Enjoy a Dave's single, a classic, or spicy chicken sandwich made with fresh ingredients for just $5. So don't compromise on flavor just because you're on a budget. Wendy's always offers fresh, famous food at a great price. Certain conditions apply.
Esso is celebrating the season of joy and giving away a year of free fuel. To enter, visit any Esso service station and fuel up with $25 or more for a chance to win. Plus, there are other exciting prizes to be won. Just remember to write your name, number, and email address at the back of your receipt and drop it into one of the boxes provided. Terms and conditions apply. Promotion ends January 9th, 2025. So don't forget to enter to win with Esso. Esso and the Esso logo are trademarks or registered trademarks of ExxonMobil Corporation or one of its subsidiaries.
Better say Lampkin. Besides carrying all the roofing material needed to cover East End, Enterprises also has all the equipment needed to put it together and to protect your workers. At Enterprises, we got hand tools, power and manual, including hacksaws, hammers, mauls, wrecking bars, well, hopefully they won't need them yet, drill bits, tapes, plumb bobs, levels, and more. We got cement, concrete bond and fiber, lime, sand, and P-rock. We got dust masks, safety glasses, gloves, hard hats, and high visibility vests. Lampkin, what we got here at Enterprises is a one-stop shop for builders.
Saxon and the Valley, Rush Music Makers One Family. Saxon and the Valley, Rush Music Makers One Family. Saxon and the Valley, Rush Music Makers One Family. Saxon and the Valley, Rush Music Makers One Family. They're coming!
Oh, when I came down out of my shoe town, on to Bay Street with the Duncan O'Flan. Saxon at the rhythm, licking them goatskin drum. The Valley boys on the brass, hitting the rubber bum bum. I'm a bohemian, I'm proud to be one. Saxon and the Valley, Rush Music Makers One Family.
It is time for your last look at the weather for the day, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Here's what's happening. We've got an expansive high-pressure system just east of the area. That's going to bring mostly calm weather patterns over the next few days and allow for warmer daytime temperatures over most of the area. But when this high pressure shifts to the east, that's going to allow a strong cold front to enter the Bahamas by tonight. That's going to bring some brisk winds and pockets of showers across the northernmost islands. That cold front is going to race through the country and bring another round of seasonably cool temperatures and a brief injection of fresh winds as high pressure builds behind that. Two more fronts will move into the area throughout the week, and a stronger one by the weekend will bring some gusty winds, showers, and possible thunderstorms into the area for your majority rule holiday weekend. So gale watch will come into effect for the northern Bahamas. Boaters, especially small craft operators, are urged to seek safe harbor and remain in port. Beachgoers are being urged to avoid Atlantic waters as well as waters in the northern Bahamas, as there is a high risk of dangerous rip currents. And motorists and pedestrians are being urged to exercise caution along coastal roads. For today, for the northern Bahamas, a mix of sun and clouds, turning partly cloudy tonight. For the rest of the northwest Bahamas, including New Providence, partly sunny today, partly cloudy tonight. For the central islands, mostly sunny today, turning mostly fair tonight, and partly to occasionally cloudy for the southeast Bahamas. Look for high temperatures around 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 60 Fahrenheit, 16 Celsius. In your extended outlook for tomorrow, Tuesday, partly cloudy to cloudy, partly sunny, turning mostly fair at night for Wednesday, and partly sunny to sunny, turning fair at night for Thursday. Majority rule day Friday, look for mostly sunny conditions, turning fair at night. That's your morning blend weather check, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Sherwin-Williams Paints got you covered for all your painting and equipment needs. Visit Sherwin-Williams Paints online or in-store today. And we got your final look at traffic, brought to you by RBC. Find your loan solution with RBC. We're back to the heavy traffic pattern, and we've got a lot to talk about on your commute this morning. Fire Trail Road, heavy traffic well south of the Fire Trail roundabout, straight through to Tonic-Williams-Darling Highway. Traffic back to along Fire Trail eastbound as well. Tonic-Williams-Darling Highway seeing a number of hot spots there. You got westbound to Milo Butler Highway, heavy traffic for you there. Some building traffic westbound to Bahamas Games Boulevard. Blue Hill Road is going to be busy for you near Carmichael. Traffic backed up along Carmichael eastbound. And north of Soldier Road on Blue Hill, you're going to see that heavy traffic on the way to Independence Drive. Independence Drive, slow moving in both directions, east and westbound. East Street, north and south of the Soldier Road intersection, heavy traffic, especially northbound this morning. Over on Glaston Road, it's busy for you as well, just north of Fire Trail on the way to John F. Kennedy Drive. Some slow-moving moving traffic on Carmichael westbound to Coral Harbor Road. Downtown, if you're on West Bay Street, just east of Arawaki, heading into the downtown area near Nassau Street, you're going to see lots of slow-moving traffic, eastbound mainly. Nassau Street busy for you as well, northbound at this hour. And downtown near Marlborough Street and the British Colonial, you're going to be seeing some slow-moving traffic, multiple directions there. Then we've got Prince Charles Drive and Robinson Road still slow-moving. Well, you're not really moving at all on Robinson from Soldier straight up to East-West Highway westbound. And Eastern Road busy for you from San Souci to Johnson Road westbound. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Start a conversation at rbc.com/loan/all of you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Saxon and the Valley, Rush Music Makers One Family. Saxon and the Valley, Rush Music Makers One Family. Saxon and the Valley, Rush Music Makers One Family. Saxon and the Valley, Rush Music Makers One Family.
They're coming!
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with Deandra Cartwright, and we're changing gears now. We're doing a postmortem on Junkanoo, the season. Although they tell me the season never ends.
Never ends. Junkanoo is season all year, 12 months, 365 and a quarter days a year.
Hey, that's Angelique McKay, who's the goddess or queen?
The Junkanoo goddess.
Junkanoo goddess.
Yes.
Right. And so she's serving as a co-producer for this segment. She's helped to organize with Junkanoo's this segment as we talk about what went right, what went wrong with at least Boxing Day and New Year's. And we got good, not everybody, but a good representation here. Angelique, you can explain what happened to the other folks.
Well, we did. We reached out to the top 5 A category groups. For Junkanoo. Mm-hmm. So we have representatives from Genesis, Roots, One Family. Saxons were not able to, and Valley Boys were not able to. And that's the Valley Boys that were a part of the competition, just for clarity.
Okay.
So that we could get that Which Valley question out of the way.
Right, okay.
So perhaps the ones that I did contact that were not able to be here, I did ask them to listen in so that they could call in we could get their perspective as well.
All right, so we have from One Family, we've got Daniel Clark. Yeah, welcome. We've got from Genesis, Noel St. Claude. Good morning, sir. And we have from Roots, Kyle Stubbs. Good morning, Kyle. Morning. Good to see you. All right, so you two will share that mic, and you two will share this one. Okay? All right, so the first question that we've got a lot of questions. Let's see, we don't have much time. But all right, so especially with Boxing Day, I don't think it improved with New Year's, but a lot of people were saying the enthusiasm wasn't there. It just was flat, dull, maybe even boring. From your perspective, I think all of you were rushing, right?
Yeah.
Did you feel that as well?
I felt that.
Let's talk right into the mic, Danny.
So
turn that to you. You can turn it to you.
Okay. Good morning. Rushing with One Family, we felt that because I don't know if you realize there was a lineup change at the last minute. Whereas there are 2 groups that were supposed to perform, 2 A groups that were supposed to perform before One Family. That was not there at the time of the start, but miraculously appeared after One Family paraded through the boulevard. So for One Family, they said, you always have to be on time. You never know what's going to happen, especially when certain category A groups are before you. I call no name. And so One Family had to switch gears quickly. And I don't know if, we went through our whole ritual where, we hype ourselves on the whole, but it was a mad dash to get through. So for us, that could have contributed to it for us.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else.
You all feel the same way? Or?
Yes, I do. I feel the same way because even we were first out the gate and it was like around 7:45. We were downtown. One of the organizers from the parade came to us and say, "Man, time to line up." And we was like, "What? Line up? The parade started 9?" You know, and like they were rushing us to get into the road. And I was like, "What's going on here?" You know, and it just threw everything off, you know, and I was like, wow, they can't be serious.
I mean, what about the earlier start? Was that a factor as well?
Now that 9 o'clock start, that need to be revisited.
Oh, so you do think that's a problem?
Yes.
Angelique, you're nodding. You're having a seizure over there. What's going on?
That 9 o'clock start, I mean, that doesn't take into consideration anyone. From where I'm standing and from what their explanation was, we start early so that we could finish early. They don't take into consideration how early that means we need to mobilize. It doesn't take into consideration even the persons who are coming to the parade because they're spending time with families as well. As Junkanoo, we already know what our Christmas Day looks like. So now we have to take hours and hours off of the already limited hours that we have for Christmas that we could possibly spend with family. And with coming out first, we could count the people that were in those bleachers that hour. And I had so many people calling me like, what time does the parade actually start? And I said 9. And they was like, what? Nobody wants to come out that early. With such short notice because families would have already prepared. We're doing this, we're doing that. And we got the announcement that the parade is going to start that time late in the season as well. So I'm not in
don't
agreement.
You all have an ability to protest and say, no, we need to think about that?
What we're doing at that, the 11th hour is trying to prepare our costumes for the parade. You know, and something happened at New Year's as well. I don't want to go way ahead of that, but the ability to protest with certain things, they take that away from us because of the limited time that we have and what our focus is on at that particular time. And again, I will say right now, we need to separate the A category from the B category for parades because of this timing situation.
We'll get back to that. Kyle, people were saying that there was the Valley Boys drama that caused the lack of enthusiasm. Do you agree with that?
I think that contributed to it. You know, in marketing, we always say once somebody has your name in your mouth, once it's good or bad, it's marketing per se. But I think that kind of drew some of the energy out last year. For us, it was unfortunate for us to sit back and watch the attention that the media played to that drama that belonged to one group that wasn't Junkanoo as a whole. And I think because that played out in the public eyes, we kind of seen it energy-wise a little bit on pay. It's interesting to hear the concerns of Genesis and One Family because we came out 6 on Boxing Day. And we heard that everybody before us was pretty much flat. And being in the front of the Saxons who were on 2 straight kind of gave us a little bit of a bump to bring a little bit more energy. Roots haven't seen Bay Street stand up for Roots the way they did probably in about 15 years. And so, you know, it was a different dynamics coming out as number 6. But I think the Valley Boys drama did take a toll on Junkanoo as a whole last season, and I pray to God that we don't walk that walk again this year.
Wow. Well, Daniel, you didn't want to call their names. We have to. Prodigal Sons Music Makers. This is really becoming, I mean, it was a laughing stock, but now this is really ridiculous now, right? Something has to be done. What do you all think needs to happen? Can we force them to go to the B category? Can they be banned or barred from the A? What can happen here?
What's so amazing is that rules only apply to certain things at a certain time. You know, that's so amazing to me because, you know, they say there's an requirement number. No more than did they meet the number.
Wow.
You know, and They actually came third in a step down on Boxing Day, and they probably had about 60 persons on the parade, you know. And I was like, okay, that's actually even music makers, you know. So rules only apply to certain groups or at certain times, you know. And I have an issue. I have a serious issue with that.
So, Angelique, what can happen here? What needs to happen? Everybody can jump in. Dania?
You know, everybody should participate, have that freedom and right to participate. But when you are impacting the parades the way you're impacting the parades year after year after year after year, from the shack gone, to the money gone, to nobody showing up. At some point in time, there needs to be consequences to your actions. And the hurtful part about it from a petty side is they always pick the good numbers. So, I mean, so either they need to be reduced to B if they cannot meet the requirements to A, because A is a struggle, or you could always team up. I am looking for persons in the front line. I have no problem of accepting one or two. You could team up with another group. And that would also alleviate the time lag on B Street.
That lag is be long.
For me, with those two groups, this is where that rules committee at the JCNP, this is what they need to focus on, as opposed to penalties for if I have on cloth, you penalizing me for that, as opposed to concentrating on the rules that would apply to groups that consistently do not meet the requirements for Bay Street. They water down the entire process, and it's a poor reflection on everyone that participates in Junkanoo, because people start to say the Junkanoo's this and the Junkanoo's that, and we know full well they are not going to be able to meet the eligibility requirements for the A category, yet we allow them to do it the day of the parade, the hour they're supposed to come out of the gate, to say, oh, you only have 60 people as opposed to 201. That's not fair to the spectators. That's not fair to the participants. It's not fair.
Right. Well, all right. We're going to take a break for the news. And when we come back, we're going to explore some of the things you talked about, the gaps, the A and B, and New Year's as well. A whole lot more to talk with you all about. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us. We'll be back.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business, a special edition of the show on this Monday, January 6th, 2025. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strong along with Deandra Cartwright. We are doing a postmortem on Junkanoo, Boxing Day and New Year's Day. We are continuing a conversation we started in our 8 o'clock hour. We've got from Roots, we've got Kyle Stubbs. From One Family, we've got Danny Clark. From Genesis, we've got Noel St. Claude and Angelique McKay, the goddess.
There you go. There you go.
All right, so we're having a great conversation. We're talking about this off-air, penalties, the judging. It's safe to say that you all aren't entirely satisfied with how these past two parades were judged.
No. Let me say this one thing, what I feel. We need to have an entity that's devoted to the management and elevation of Junkanoo globally, not just here. Not the JCMP who volunteers their time after an exhaustive day at work. We need persons that will focus on this our number one cultural expression, the number one cultural expression of the people of the Bahamas. Too many mornings, us Junkanoos leave the parade knowing that things have fallen short of this, that, and the next. And we talk about it every year. And the same thing happens again the following year. I understand if I go to work 9 to 5 and then I have to meet at 6 o'clock, you're not getting my best at 6 o'clock after I've already given a full day's work. We can have an entity like the JCMP have a board that sits on this governing body that has representatives from all of the groups, but not necessarily they're the persons governing the production of the parade. We need professionals that are well aware of marketing, event production, all those types of things. Not unlike how we had that Carnival Commission set up, where it was the 9 to 5 job of persons at that Carnival Commission to execute the production of those carnival parades. That's what we need for Junkanoo. And I'm going to say this one separately. As a proud She-Hawk from Genesis, the judges ignore us. The judges ignore us. I'm in the road. And I'm in the road and I see that they look the other way. Literally, not figuratively, literally look the other way. And we pour in our heart and soul. We only want to be judged and judged fairly, win, lose, or draw, because we're not leaving our group. We just want, look at us and give us what we deserve. That's it.
So what are you saying? They've already made up their mind at who's winning this parade?
When I listen to the commentators on TV, and when we came down, especially New Year's, and I listened to all of them, and they were like, wow, Genesis is exceptional this morning in costuming and everything. And when I saw the scores, I was like, boy, they must see something totally different than what everybody else saw, because I was like, wow. Because even in the parade, when we were coming down into the judging zone, I actually watched judges turn away and walked away from our group and didn't score us, honestly.
And I can't recall seeing any judges on Shirley Street either. Now that you speak about it.
I mean, these are serious claims.
Yeah, so I was like, wow.
You want to? What? You want to? You want to bring that up now? I mean, I don't.
Well, since you brought it up, so I've been going to Junkanoo from before I can remember. Been on Shirley Street, been following all the groups, all of them. I have no allegiance to any group. As we've all agreed, Junkanoo is the premier demonstration of our cultural selves, right? And so I applied this year, since I'm back home and stationary, so I could finally do it, to become a judge. Because I always see people who I never thought would have been a judge be a judge. And I'm like, if they don't know anything about Junkanoo, but they became a judge, but me who've been going to Junkanoo for years, and I know I ain't pulling for no group, nothing. I support everybody, right? Even though I know that's bad, y'all looking at me hard, I get it. So I said, let me apply. I never hear back. Never heard back. And I'm like, it makes me curious. How are the people selected to do the judging? What is their background? Is this a transparent process? What is going on with the selection of judges? Then I go out there on the night of, because again, I get tickets to go to Junkanoo every year. Before when I couldn't afford it, I used to be on Shirley Street. What I'm saying, I think I still need to go back to Shirley Street. That's where the real shows be anyway. I looking on the streets. I looking for the judges. I ain't see them as much as I should have. And I had commentary in the back of me from seasoned folks. We looking to see where the judges is, why the scene happening, what's supposed to be seen. And I still can't find it. I see in so many different persons and different vests and things like that. But I'm like, but where the clipboards? What's going on? And I think some people said they went virtual, but I'm like, but I don't see the process that we know is supposed to be happening. I don't see it happening.
Wow.
I don't. And I'm like, but I should have been a part of it.
Right.
So I was salty.
So, so interesting. The judging topic is always interesting. And if we were to go back, to Boxing Day New Year's, it is our understanding that professional judges were supposed to be looking at choreograph and music. And we were supposed to have what we call some legends who assist the general pool of judges in critically looking at music, costuming, and dance, and so on. Whether that occurred or not, I'm not factually 100% on that, so I won't speak. But the fact that we are still having this conversation about concerns about judging, having approached it that way means that this is a serious issue. And to DeAndre's point, we go through this process where the general public can apply to judge, right? Some groups would go and ask people to actually apply. And then we have a vetting out process. So I can sit at the table and say, no, Angelique McKay is associated with Genesis, so we don't need her to be the judge, right?
So maybe JCNP them could tell me.
Or maybe you just look like you're just too straight a shooter. You're too honest.
What it is.
So maybe
No, but
the
you
honest
want-
people. No, we would want.
Right.
We would want the honest people. But folks and organizations and Junkanoo groups don't want the honest people. We want our people. Right? And so we will do what it takes to have our people inside this pool.
So then that
and
must
we
be
will
what
make sure we
happened
take
then.
care of our people so our people take care of our group.
Yikes.
That's
Our producers nodding. Oh boy,
Listen.
terrifying.
We was talking about corruption before from last week with some other
corrupt
entities.
society.
You telling me
You
it
have to accept that. Corruption is in politics, corruption in the church, corruption in Junkanoo.
I understand, but my goodness, come on now. We are here discussing what's going on with Junkanoo. The issues with the systems that govern Junkanoo. People were making comparison to how the parade evolved from decades ago, right? And we see this evolution with systemizing, excuse my Thai tongue, this whole thing. But is it working for us? It seemingly is working against us.
100%.
And it should have been getting better year after year, but it seems like we're regressing.
No. You were talking about the penalties. Talk to Dwight.
We're too busy at the JCMP level focusing on penalizing people.
Let's talk about that.
How do we get to that point?
I don't know. I remember
Or is that the
one
easiest way
time,
to
this
judge?
was quite a number of years ago. And I still to this day, that's still ingrained in my memory. When we were penalized for cloth, right? And the marshals from my group, it was a cold morning and I had on long sleeve. They was like, you need to cut these sleeves. We could get penalty. And I was like, what? Because from where I'm standing, artistic expression, if my cloth is taking away from the imagery of my costume, give me less points. I don't need a penalty for that if I don't get a 10 for it. Give me a 9. But why are you going to take away points? And how, I don't even understand how that takes away from my overall costume. It's just so many things that they try to pigeonhole us into when we try to bring our artistic expressions to Bay Street. We spend hours and then we have to navigate from these rules that take away from our artistic expression.
Yeah. Somebody's asking whether Boxing Day or any of the parades were non-penalty parades. How does that work? When is one determined to be a non-penalty parade? When is one?
Well,
how do
I
you-
know.
Who
I
makes
think
that,
it was
that call?
Boxing Day. I think Boxing Day was a non-penalty parade, and they made that decision in the wee hour of the morning. That wasn't even a prior, and I wouldn't call the person name, but I remember the person coming down from one of the major groups say, I'll beat y'all every morning because you always work hard. I don't work hard. I just work smart, and then when I listened, it was a non-penalty parade. And I was like, what? Non-penalty? So when we going to know this? But again,
explain to people, what exactly does that mean?
A non-penalty parade is anything goes, basically. Yes. Anything basically goes. And you could tell, just look at the results. We got the same results Boxing Day, was the same results New Year's. Same
So
results.
New Year's was not a non-penalty parade.
No.
No, New Year's
But-
was a penalty parade.
New Year's was a penalty.
It was a penalty parade, but Boxing Day was
irony
not.
of
But
life.
who decided this? Why was that decided?
No, in her defense, okay, what I saw transpire New Year's morning, they went looking for the chairman or leader of each group and asked them whether or not they're okay with the 2 laps. That's the first thing. Now, one family then come out 5th, and you come in to ask us at the 5th time, the 5th group, if we're okay with just rushing 2 laps. What about those that went ahead of us? But that's another story. It was could be the 2 laps because the ultimates already said 2 laps, whoever the ultimates may be. I don't know, they may be 4 straight champions. I'm just throwing that out there. But no shade. So things like that. So let me go back on the penalty points. After New Year's, this is a stickler for me. I was so confused. I had to go and look up the rules to understand cloth and cloth penalty and what a fringe and a pasted costume is supposed to be. My understanding is that I think it's 70% actually pasted. So that's more than just the back of my costume needs to be pasted. Portions of the front also needs to be pasted, right? So I was kind of confused as to why my group got a penalty for cloth when the whole front line of another group displayed, let's say, more than 20 cloth costumes without cloth numbers. Because in order for you to carry a cloth costume, you need to have a cloth number and your costume number to say if you're a free dancer, if you're off the shoulder, one of those things, right? There was an abundance of cloth on the parade. And now that also led me to think, all right, is this carnival or is this Junkanoo? What are we doing here? What are we really doing here?
Oh, boy. Wow. All right. We got, I want to get back to something you said earlier about separating the A division and the B division. How do you all feel about that? What do you mean exactly? And then we'll get everyone to give their views on that.
Well, my thoughts on that, and I'm putting together a SWOT analysis on that to be able to present that as we move forward. We hear participants as well as spectators talk about the long hours for each one of these parades and then the gaps in between the parades. Now, if we were to, and again, this calls for proper management as opposed to just saying, y'all come, let's line up. You hear him say 7:45, they wanted us to line up. It's never the Junkanoos that are behind schedule. We're there hours before, waiting to be called out. Now, the parades take long because of the large number of participants in each one of the groups. We can't go in the road until those parade management people call us in the road, and they run us down the road. 70 minutes is the only amount of time we have to be on Bay Street. So their poor management skills with putting fillers in between. Now, if only A category persons go out, right? And you have, let's say, the fun groups come in between us. You still have constant movement. There's not going to be a delay. It may not be a spectacular performance because a fun group is in between the A category groups. And then you have the B category groups, and you can have the individual costumes go in between them. Right? As opposed to, this parade is going too long on a New Year's. So let's now tell the people they can only go Bay Street and Shirley Street and not Bay Street again. Months and months of our time and effort is poured, our souls are poured into these costumes. And to be deprived of that extra time on Bay Street is a slap in the face and an insult to us.
So what are you proposing?
I'm proposing to separate A category for one day and B category for another day. Logistically, it will be a festival style. The bleachers are already up. We can start the parade at a particular time. Yes, it'll end in the wee hours of the morning and work the next day in some instances. But we're able to do that. It's the holiday season. We do it anyway.
But for those who are saying that people won't show up for the B groups.
The B category groups have fans. They have fans, and we have to market it. It may not be full bleachers in the beginning, but it's a process. We build it, we develop it. Those B category groups have fans. And for persons who may not want to come out when the larger groups are out, it's their opportunity. We have a lot of visitors to our country who have yet to experience Junkanoo. They can come to those parades as well.
I think Angelique is hitting the nail on the head. I think once we move away from referring to Boxing Day and New Year's as parades and we look at it as a festival, then we open ourselves into all of these other options. And we look at the cruise ships now, they're staying later and later. And so hopefully in 2025, we can see some overnighting. And then so if we have cruise ships that's overnighting and we're doing Junkanoo tickets at $10, $20, and we say the average cruise ship passenger spends $30, then 20 out of that $30 is a seat on to see, and they're not concerned or know who's a B or A group, but there's a festival that's going on for 3 days, and I can catch Junkanoo for 3 solid days. But we also have to do is get ourselves as Bahamians to appreciate Junkanoo and the culture and get away from this cannibalizing or bastardization of Junkanoo, where it has to be the Valley Boys versus the Saxons, or it has to be Roots versus Genesis or one family. But we come to appreciate the fact that Genesis has spent 6 months in the shack and this is their presentation. Roots has spent 6 months in the shack and this is their presentation. One family has done the exact same. And I think, when we look at it as a parade, is how do we manage this parade? When we look at the festival, is how do we celebrate this festival and everybody wins kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Interesting points. All right,
The greatest show on earth. We need to treat it that way.
Yeah. Caller will get to you in just a second. You can call in as well. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. All right, so this texter is asking, because I wanted to ask about that, colors and fancy dancers with the B groups. If Boxing Day was a non-penalty parade, how was Colors able to protest? What could they have protested if the groups were not penalized? Anybody can explain that? What happened there?
Now that one, when I saw it myself, they protest, and I actually looked like they won the protest.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And I was like, again, it's mind-baffling.
Mm-hmm.
So I really can't give an answer for that, to be honest with you.
Wow. I think clear and concise communication, because I know the day of that question came up, and we had an understanding of something different than is being discussed there. But that just comes to communication, and it shouldn't be the day of or the week of, and there should be reasoning as to why. I think we've watered down Junkanoo since the pandemic, and we've never brought it back to its full scale. The leotards, the T-shirts for the off the shoulders, the fact that we're not being very precise on what we describe as pasting and the material that we can use, we watered it down. I think the public, who, like she would have mentioned, would have been comparing these two parades to decades ago. We want to see the real element of Junkanoo. A cleanly fringed, pasted costume, nicely streaked, can tell a much better story than something that's heavily decorated and triple streaked and mirrors and studs and everything else. Wow. So again, at the management level, at the JCMB level, are we going to be intentional? Are we going to explicitly explain these things? And so there's a little bit more of an even playing field. Those are the conversations that we need to drive into action, as opposed to just having those conversations year after year.
Yeah. All right, let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Good morning, Dwight, Ms. Cartwright, and your guest.
Hi.
Good morning. Dwight, I must say that I agree with your guest. I don't think that much attention is paid to Genesis, because on Boxing Day, I actually had Genesis come. I thought they came third, and no one was more shocked than I was when they didn't, because I didn't thought that the volleyball nor the one family had beaten them on Boxing Day. Oh. Also, I believe, once again, that everybody, because it's our culture, everyone should be allowed to rush. And I thought it was an unfair blow dealt to the way forward, based on the rule that apply from years ago when they said, when you come with the first time, you come with a fun group. Because they need a committee, obviously. In fact, that rule need to be overlooked or updated. And they need a special committee to actually review by taking a register of the amount of persons when you join a new group, amount of persons they have, also the experience of the group, if they are eligible to come out in that group number. When I look at Prodigal and Music Makers, like I say, people don't really buy a ticket to see them. But I thought that if they were allowed to rush, what people paid the tickets for, I think the way forward should have been allowed to rush. And also, they need to do reality check, get Music Makers and Prodigal Tire combined or be relegated. Okay, that needs to happen, because how long does it take for a group to continuously come, disqualification, and get seized money and come out based on the public time? That needs to be looked at. Thank you.
Very interesting. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Wow, anybody want to respond?
Well, I'm not a member of the JCMB, so I don't want to speak on that Valley Boys and them being allowed to rush. But I mean, rules are rules. And I think in that instance, one family and I mean, not one family, sorry, Music Makers and Prodigal Sons are already established Junkanoo groups and already participated in the A category. So I think that's where that little bit of a change or difference in the approach kind of thing. But I'll leave that alone. And I do agree with the call in terms of Genesis and their performance both on Boxing Day and New Year's. I think it was a step up from what we've grown accustomed to Genesis, and I think that they're turning the tide. And a part of it is making the noise. You know, I've been with Roots for 22, 23 years, and we've had to make noise as well to draw some attention. And sometimes you have to just put that outstanding performance out there where there's no questions, you know, and build that fan loyalty from those who are sitting in the bleachers. Because sometimes, honestly, you know, the folks who wear the vest and the task with judging just aren't as honest. And we always, as Junkanoos, we could say, we walk off the parade and we could say, hey, yeah, that was the Saxon zone, or that was the Valley Boys zone, or Genesis did not deserve fifth. And, you know, and that can be seen plain with the eye.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of people saying Roots should have won at least one of those parades.
Yeah, you know, in our eyes, we let it slip, right? There's one or two things on our end we want to say that we didn't complete, we didn't, you know, dot some I's and cross some T's. But interestingly enough, our analysis, especially of Boxing Day, is, you know, we want overall costuming, but we weren't able to place high in terms of top all lead costume. And then again, our presentation on New Year's allowed us to come out on the top with overall costuming, but we were able to change the tide and place and step down and lead costuming on New Year's. But we let it slip. Music-wise and energy-wise, we know we took a step back on New Year's compared to Boxing Day. But for sure, we should have been able to walk away with one of these parades. But yeah.
Angelique?
This point system as well, I have a serious issue with that. People beating you by point 0.03.
They're very close, especially Boxing Day,
We need
right?
to go back to the larger numbers, because this other thing is ridiculous. It just doesn't make much sense. And when you can see that you beat somebody's costume by a mile, and then when you look at the notation of the point system, you beat them by 0.03? How? How? It's so much. We walk away from these parades with way more questions than answers every year. And you know who have the majority of the questions? Those of us that pour our hearts and souls into the productions of our costumes and the productions of these parades to bring the greatest show on earth to Bay Street. It's us that is left with all these questions. And why? Why?
Yeah. Wow. All right, some text messages here. This person says here, the point is that the JCMP is made up of all of the groups. They just need to come together and make a protest for those two groups to be reclassified. This is Prodigal Sons and Music Makers, I guess. Can the parades just be one lap Bay Street and Shirley Street? How do you feel about that? No.
To me, that's a no.
No, they're not.
When you all year you put in all this work into the shack, you want to show off your costume. So, shoots, if I could get 2 laps on Bay Street and 2 laps on Shirley Street, I'll take that. You know.
I'll be honest with you.
Daniel?
I am not feeling that third lap, that last lap on Bay Street. I first of all, the sun hot, the costume heavy, I tired. By that time, the wait is really too long because.
So 2 laps, most people will be satisfied with that.
Yeah, 2 laps for me.
This where the festival, where I agree, where the separation come with the festival.
Yeah, so I agree with the comments here at the table. The only thing is when we look at the energy play at Junkanoo, right, the third lap, like Roots, right, we were first on New Year's and the Saxons were 7th. And we were praying to God that we could get that third lap to come down energy-wise behind the Saxons, right? But we didn't have that because, like we mentioned, the question was thrown out to some of the group leaders, and when it came back to us, that, you know, it's 2 laps. This parade is the statement was made that this was 2 laps. But we were banking on, okay, we weren't as solid as we were at Boxing Day. We know that. We stepped it up on Shirley Street. Just give us one chance to come down behind the Saxons. So in that instance, yes, we were robbed of that. But if in advance, it's put on the table that the parade is 2 laps. Then no matter what number you come out of, you come with the mindset that I only get 2 laps.
No
You got to put on
changing
the
at the
show.
last
No,
minute.
there's no energy ramp up on the 3rd lap. There's no I can get you back. There's no victory lap. There's Bay Street and Trader Street, and the last minute changes is correct.
The problem or the difficulty with that 3rd lap is the number of hours that we have to wait to go back. And that's because of all those other, the B category groups and the individual and the fun groups. We already coal again. You know, it takes us between 4 to 6 hours, between 4 to 6 hours after we finish Shirley Street to go back on Bay Street. And with the elimination of all those other in between, if we just separate the A and B, 1 hour we back on the strip. You know, and our energy level is still there. We're still pumped. We've already seen what the other groups have done. We make our adjustments through the rest areas, and we pour even more of ourselves into the parade and our performance.
Well, okay. I know you have to leave us in a second. We're going to take a break in a second. This person says Junkanoo will never really be appreciated until they stop all those people in the street. Photographers, marshals, and judges don't need to be in the road. That's why I don't go. There can be elevated booths along the parade for these people. What do you think of that? Do they need to be amongst?
No, they need to be amongst. I know for New Year's, I had to ask, because I marshaled New Year's, I had to ask some gentlemen to move out of the way because the persons in the stand, they would see, but you're blocking their view.
Wow.
To which the response is, so I said to them, they are paying to see the show. His response is, we're paying to present the show, to record the show. So I was like, you could move and do that, you know. You don't have to block the view. I've watched Saxons perform, and the marshals got in the way. There's an issue with marshalling. You're only entitled to a certain amount of marshal vests. I've heard that they get marshal vests through other means, and they crowd the streets. And that impacts your performance, that impacts the person's vision. And I don't know what we're going to do to try and resolve that. I think maybe we really need to utilize police to identify. No, that's too much. But it's just
a governing body.
Governing
9 to 5, who properly manages and produces the parade and exports Junkanoo globally.
Yeah, I think it's in majority of groups, but she just mentioned, some folks end up with vests, and you can't tell who they're associated with. But I watched 2 groups. I had the awesome privilege of sitting on ZNS on New Year's, and 2 groups literally had marshal sections, right? At least 20 marshals grouped together, coming down the boulevard, and it's so if this is a group, then who's looking after costumes? Who's making sure that the sugar levels are correct? Who has the water? If this grouping of 20, and I'm certain it's only 49 marshal vests that each group is given, what are you doing? But then here's how we explain some of the gaps in some of the groups, because you're not in cloth number. You're supposed to be assisting with the management of the parade, but you're actually in this parade route. And I witnessed it on 2A groups. Obstruction. We understand that we want to take us across the globe. But, in the middle of Bay Street is the performance lane. We can capture those things strategically, drones, skyboxes, maybe limited amount of people in the road itself. But between media personnel, group marshals, parade managers, judges, you get hundreds of people in vests on the boulevard.
Crazy stuff.
Before we go to the break, I just had talking about extra people in the road or whatnot. I counted there were at least 6 times groupings of police officers just walked up and down. Yeah. Well, I recorded them, and the guests that I took with me, I referred to them. I said, you're going to see a swarm of police officers just walk up and down, and slowly but surely it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it takes a long time for them to move.
Yeah.
I don't know what the purpose of it is.
Wild
and
stuff.
then they go and stop in the middle of Bay Street to have conversations.
With
This is crazy. Let's take this call, and then we're going to take the break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
I'm Pleasant. Good morning, Dwight. Hello.
Hi, morning.
Dwight, let me tell you something. Back in 2000, we had the answer for the problems they're talking about now. I took you that back many times, Dwight, to the time when we used to do 3 laps on Bay Street. You had to go around 3 times. And people used to be there right there Junkanoo over. One time when it was organized properly, in 2000, I think it was, or 199, myself, Fassetti, and Ronald Sims got together by Bill Strachan upon Hawkins Hill, and we introduced to the Ministry of Culture, Kayla Lockett, we would do the first Independence Rush. The name was changed to the People Rush. The Independence Rush was organized. Eddie Davis and Ronald Sims, they drove from Malcolm Park out there by Sydney Soitler by the bridge. They drove the length right to the Western Esplanade, what y'all is called Arawaki, which is not Arawaki, it's the Western Esplanade. The object was we will go down a parade route. Instead of going around a block and stopping on these 4 corners, we will go down a parade route. We will rest at different resting intervals on the sides of the street. And then at 6 a.m. in the morning, we will stop in Rawson Square, raise the flag, and sing the national anthem. From there, we will continue down to the Western Esplanade. People would meet the vendors down there, have your sauce, your chicken, your confidence, and this and that. And then you go home and wait for the results. One parade route like they do it. Carnival, all around the world, they don't go around no block. They start at one place and end at another place. Just going around the block causes traffic with all these bleachers down Bay Street. All these people betray. Everybody wants to stand up and hail and profile on Rawson Square, want to shake the Prime Minister's hand, and everybody, the police, the defense force, everybody want to congregate in Rawson Square. Along that route is by John Bull and everything, they have the bleachers again. Everybody wants to stop and hail their friend. That's what they dress them and go on to Junkanoo for. Not to see Junkanoo only, but they want to hail their friends. Seriously. I got 9.2 million fans down there that I got to hail. So what happens is, if we do one route straight down, by the time you reach down there, it'll be around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. If you want boiled fish, stewed fish, you think with the vendors down there, you get that, that's your breakfast. The people down, the vendors, instead of going to Parliament Street and all these off-side roads with all these vendors, you got one bunch of vendors down at Western Esplanade. The vendors are service, they get their money. The Chunkanoos get their lap in, they have their fun. And everybody, if you're living in the Western District, you could see the last end when they reach the Western round by Fort Charlotte.
Very interesting, Sparky. So what do you all think of that? What do you think of extended, maybe all the way to, as you said, the Eastern Parade or something? One long parade and no loop.
I'm a proponent of the JCMP or the Junkanoo community having a state-of-the-art performance stadium, per se, that can not only house Boxing Day and New Year's, but allow Junkanoo groups to facilitate revenue generation practices throughout the season. But I think, we do it with Carnival. Sparky, it's something to be explored, I would say.
Interesting. Yeah.
Real interesting. My only thing with it is, with the costumes and everything, you can need a rest point, See, that's the issue. Because when you get these step down with almost big as a leader, then you get on a shoulder piece. Trust me, that hour and couple minutes with that shoulder piece on, you need a break. So you need a rest point.
Yeah. That was my thought process as well. At some point in time, you're going to need a break for persons to catch themselves, because all those persons in the road, that 70 minutes feels like 3 hours. So you're gonna need a break somewhere in between.
And if we just look at the 70 minutes now that we have on Bay Street, it is very exhausting. And when we look at Carnival and the fact that the Carnival parades are much longer, but they're also much lighter costumes, right? And so logistically, I think that could pose some challenges, but the rest is important. If you see the state of some of these Junkanoos after the parade, who doesn't end up in the hospital, who is in bruised toes
boy.
and have
I was on
blisters
bed
on their
rest.
hand, who
Hospital.
isn't urinating blood.
What?
And so when we look at exhausting or going beyond that 70 minutes, we're looking at some serious health concerns as well. But needs to be explored.
My goodness. Wow. Okay, this texter says, I really think the JCMP needs to be revisited. The Junkanoo's making decisions for themselves. They're making poor decisions for themselves. Whoa. What do you say to that? That maybe you're too close to the situation, and this is why we are where we are? Because everyone's trying to get their way?
Don't forget the JCMP wasn't always here. And I think that was a conversation that came about after the previous management style and the government's involvement. But I don't want anybody to underestimate the talent, the professionalism that we have of Junkanooers. And so we do have people who can plan and execute events on an exceptional level. Are they participating on the parade management side of things at this moment? That's a question to ask and to find the answer. We do have marketing and PR professionals. We do have media personalities. We do have CEOs and accountings and lawyers, all within inside this Junkanoo community. So it's just on us tapping on our resources and having the right persons contribute holistically and genuinely to moving this further, I think is a part of it. Do we or can we use outside help? I don't think that's ever going to be a question. Us, being able to bring in and use resources from the outside. But I think we do have qualified folks who are interested. And I think some of these conversations have just been murmurs over the last few years, and they need to become a little bit more of a serious conversation and driven to action.
Yeah. My take on that too is because we made it such more of a competition and who's going to win, and it's about winning, till we losing focus on what we really can do in Junkanoo.
Yeah.
I agree with your statement with regards to the composition of the JCNP and having qualified and professional persons. I also agree with your statement that, and I think we need a little element of independence, a little someone who could veto certain things or say, hey, look at this perspective, or someone who could bring another viewpoint to the discussions. Because right now, as it stands, for example, there was a lot of commotion because the president of the JCMP was in the parade with his group. And I was confused by that because the JCMP are made up of members of all the Junkanoo groups. I don't understand what the issue would be with that. So maybe we just need like some independent option to be added into it. Somebody who would have some knowledge of arts and music and management, some third element, just to say, okay, if everybody agree this and I have the deciding factor, I could change this vote. Yeah, like a chairman from an objective standpoint.
Right.
Right.
All right. Let's take this final call, and then we are running out of time. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning.
Hi.
Yes, speaking as a Saxon, after these last two parades, everybody's complaining and having all kind of adverse words concerning our victories. Nobody is congratulating us, But guess what? We can see all the Andre Boxing in the years line up. The rules always been the same. Just adjust yourself. We can see you on base.
Okay, well, congratulations.
Congratulations to the Saxons.
If that is needed to be said,
Yes.
Congratulations to the Saxons. Hands down. Nobody is saying or trying to take the victory away from the Saxons, All we want to say is we just would like, if it is that a penalty is going to be applied, it should be applied straight across the board. That's all we're saying, The Saxons did an exceptional job Boxing Day,
Oh, yeah.
And their front line was amazing New Year's.
Yeah.
Nobody's taking that away from them. It's just,
Yeah, that's interesting. Because I was just sitting thinking of the little B-roll that came on before Roots on New Year's, and the first thing Sarge said, with all of his enthusiasm, was to congratulate the Shell Saxon superstars, right? And in the conversation here today, it was really not pointing at the Saxons. When the question was mentioned that people thought that Roots should have won, it wasn't that the Saxons stole anything. It was that Roots let two parades slip away. So I don't want anybody in the Shell Saxon Superstars to feel that way, especially from Roots. And we do want to congratulate you on 2 victories and 4 straight. We do sit down and say what you did on Boxing Day. We don't think you can do for the next 10, 15, 20 years because it was really exceptionally well done. Of course, we always have questions about materials that's used and so on and so forth. But first and foremost, you are the winners of Boxing Day New Year's. And so we want to congratulate you. And just like you, we can see you on the boulevard this year too. Exactly. So I don't want you to think like you're 4 straight scares anybody or anything. And this is just a constructive conversation. So when we do get on the boulevard, hopefully we are moving the needle forward. Yeah. So congratulations and enjoy your win. And you do have 12 months to enjoy that. But you got 6 other groups who come in for that, my friend. So enjoy it.
He sounded hurt.
He did. I don't understand it.
Oh my. Say it again. Talking to the mic.
They also have a new title, the most winningest group on Bay. Yeah, so congratulations,
Saxons, yeah.
All right, this is final text here. Oh boy, B doesn't mean bad presentation for B groups. I remember back in the day when colors used to look better than many of the A category groups. If the B groups injected some good costume design as opposed to the same old boxy looking hats and shoulder pieces, that parade could be spectacular. It just has to be planned like something spectators would be thrilled to see. So they're advocating, I guess, separating the A's from the B's, and you all are open to that as well. Everybody's thinking that is. So, I mean, who will make the ultimate decision here? Because we've heard this for quite a while now. People suggesting this.
I think
who needs to make that happen?
I think that fall under the NJCP as well.
Yeah,
the leaders.
I guess the government will have to get
and the government will have to get involved in that as well.
Yeah. Wow. So what's next? What's next for you all? Are you really heading back into the shack, or are you still recuperating, or what happens?
Well, I know for us, like I said, it never stops. We just had a meeting actually yesterday on moving forward with our themes, and I know all theme or whatever we plan to do this year has to be submitted by the 30th of this month, actually.
For
Genesis,
group.
For my our group.
Yeah.
And we're ready to go, to be honest with you. It doesn't stop here. Our saying is bigger than Bay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think for the 3 of us sitting in here, that's the mantra for our organization. And we are busy off season, whether it's community work or anything else. But for us, this has been our most consistent season in a long time, and so we're going to celebrate it. Yeah. So we're going to do something to acknowledge some of the movers and shakers within our organization. And a huge thank you to our sponsors, Atlantis and Bahamas Striping. And then we get back into our community service for the first half of the year. While, just like Genesis, between the end of this month and Valentine's next month, we'll know exactly what our 2 themes are. And we'll start preparation in March. Usually, we ask to be the first group on Labor Day, or we would skip Labor Day, and just as a group building morale kind of thing. And then Independence is the real kickstart to our season. And so as we prepare for Independence, we start to prepare for Boxing Day and New Year's.
Wow.
But on behalf of Roots Junction Organization, we just want to wish everybody a happy and prosperous New Year.
Okay. And Daniel, one family?
One family, the work does not stop. We are currently in the postmortem stage. We're reviewing what we did last year to see how we can improve, how we can increase motivation and momentum in the group. We are also, we are also doing plans for the future for, our group birthday is in March. And so we have a lot of community efforts that we need to deal with. And so, we have a lot of work to do, right? Like I told the chairman yesterday, no vacation. You got to keep rolling. You can't stop. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop.
So I always bring this up, my view that maybe New Year's, one common theme, and everybody, let's see who can best execute the theme. How do you all feel being in the groups? Would that be well received? Are you not open to that?
Personally, reason why I'm not open to it is because, just say we bring in flowers. The theme is flowers. Everybody got to produce flowers. Then you see a pile of flowers on Bay Street. Everybody group have flowers.
See, but that theme is too simple. You have to make this a really...
I know. We tried it. We tried it with the Freeport Parade. When we had the parade in Freeport, it was tried already, and it didn't work. To be honest with you,
Wow. It's going to become monotonous because you're going to see the same thing over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
But I mean, the challenge would be to embrace and to try and get those creative juices flowing. But I mean, at some point, like, how far could those creative juices expand a theme? But
Yeah.
I mean,
Kyle, I feel you have a different view.
No, I'm just thinking it through. You know, and I don't. Maybe Independence is the parade where we can trial and error of that approach.
Yeah.
And then see, because, you know, every so often we do say Independence is a costume parade, whether we're celebrating 50 years or not, or it's a T-shirt parade. So maybe Independence could be a trial and error for that. But if there is any parade that we open that question to, it would have to be New Year's.
Yeah.
Where, you know, there is a focus on New Year's, but the real focus is Boxing Day. And then after Boxing Day is how do we complete the New Year's program.
And
so if everybody is on this, then you get to see how everybody approaches a New Year's program.
Right. And the slight downfall to that is this, to be honest with you. When you compete, like, for example, Genesis, we could probably put 200, 300 members in the road. But when you're competing against a group like the Valley Boys and the Saxon, could put 700 in the road. It puts you at a real disadvantage, because there's no limit to say how many members you could have in your group. You know, what is so amazing is that you need a requirement. But then you don't have
no cap. That's crazy.
So, if you look at Roots and our NFL on New Year's, if even one family or the Saxons or the Valley Boys in their heydays was to do NFL, you know, you would see multiple costumes of each
team. Yeah.
Where, you know, Roots is like, okay, let's just make sure we have a good representation. Let's try out. Let's make sure that we have all of the team. But, you know, you say NFL for everybody, then the Saxons come out, then you get 25 Kansas City costumes and 35.
And same with the Valley. That's the numbers.
Then Roots come down, it's like 1 Kansas City, 2 Cowboys, 3 Dolphins. It's like, oh, so that press looks a little bit more.
Exactly.
Their storytelling looks a little bit more detailed. When in actuality, we tell them the same story.
Yeah.
But their numbers just give the impression of
Excellent point.
Yeah.
Oh boy, this is a lot that a lot of people don't think about. The viewers, the spectators just don't understand some of this. I mean, the stuff that you reveal about the health issues. Woo. I hope everybody's okay.
Oh, I can tell you, I'm good now. Yeah. Okay. You know, I was home and was on bed rest. You know, I just actually back to work today. Still ain't out of the woods 100%. You know, but I'll be okay.
My goodness. Well, this is what you love, right? So the sacrifices you make. Thank you for being here this morning. Really appreciate it. We'll see what happens. What comes out of this. Hopefully, Boxing Day will be an improvement from what we saw last year. So Daniel Clark and Kyle Stubbs and Noel St. Claude, and I want to thank Angelique McKay, who had to leave us. Thank you all for being here this morning, and keep up the great work that you all are doing with Junkanoo. All right, we're going to take a break and be back to wrap things up on this Monday morning. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
This holiday season, give the gift that lasts a lifetime. Financial freedom with CFAL. Whether you're looking to take the stress out of holiday giving or plan for the future, CFAL has you covered. With our suite of savings products, you can start with a minimal upfront investment and low monthly contributions. Get a jump start with 2025 financial goals with CFAL Savings Express. Or give the little ones a head start with the CFAL Education Plan. You can also secure your own future with the CFAL Blue Marlin Retirement Plan. This holiday season, make your gift count with CFAL, where small savings lead to brighter futures. Visit CFAL.com today to start building wealth so you can live well. Happy holidays from all of us at CFAL.
What? You don't know what TDC is? Tourism Development Corporation? You mean the Ministry of Tourism? No, that ain't the same thing, buddy. The Tourism Development Corporation helps to develop and grow behemoth businesses in the tourism industry. You hear what they say, buddy? Oh, yeah. Develop and grow. You don't know what all the things saying do? What does do? Check the website, boy.
Start your journey to ownership of our #1 industry today. Log on to tdcbahamas.com.
Double the holidays with Scotiabank, and you could win your share of $28,000 this Christmas. Just spend $300 or more on your Scotiabank credit card, and you could be the lucky first prize winner of $13,000, or the second prize winner of $8,000, or the third prize winner of $5,000. Win big and claim your share of $28,000 when you shop with Scotiabank this Christmas. Promotion ends January 27, 2025. Draw date February 17, 2025. Visit bs.scotiabank for more information. Conditions apply.
This holiday season, give the gift that lasts a lifetime. Financial freedom with CFAL. Whether you're looking to take the stress out of holiday giving or plan for the future, CFAL has you covered. With our suite of savings products, you can start with a minimal upfront investment and low monthly contributions. Get a jump start with 2025 financial goals with CFAL Savings Express, or give the little ones a head start with the CFAL Education Plan. You can also secure your own future with the CFAL Blue Marlin Retirement Plan. This holiday season, make your gift count with CFAL, where small savings lead to brighter futures. Visit CFAL.com today to start building wealth so you can live well. Happy holidays from all of us at CFAL.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
It's time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. The Nassau Cruise Port welcomed 5.6 million cruise passengers to Nassau in 2024, topping the previous year's number by 1.2 million passengers. According to a statement released by NCP, the country saw a total of 9.1 cruise visitors, representing 61% of all visitors to the Bahamas. NCP said 5.6 million visitors was a new one-year record for Nassau's cruise port. The port expects numbers to continue to grow as cruisers add more and larger ships to their fleets and adds Nassau to those ships' itineraries. An executive of an expanding accounting and corporate service advisory company says that business license audit preparatory work for small and medium-sized businesses will keep him busy for the first half of the year. Managing Director of PDC Corporate Services Limited, Peter Cartwright, telling Guardian Business that his new office in Caves Village will allow him to focus on his growing corporate service advisory business that he's built up over to 50 companies. Read more on that in today's Guardian Business section. Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation will have a study on corporate income tax completed by the end of the third quarter of this year, with the assistance of the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. Executive Director of BCCEC, Dr. Leo Roll, telling Guardian Business that one of the core items on the Chamber's agenda is completing the study. He says that the Chamber is working with USAID on several studies in various areas such as the ease of doing business, business cost, energy reform, and tax reform. And private cruise ports have risen in popularity because cruise passengers can feel safe at those destinations. That's according to Arkansas-based cruise planners franchise owner Kelly Brewer, speaking to Travel Weekly. More on the comments in today's Guardian Business section. Overseas, Nippon Steel and U.S. Steel filing a federal lawsuit challenging a U.S. President Joe Biden administration decision to block Nippon's proposed $15 billion acquisition of the Pittsburgh company, and said that the head of the Steelworkers Union and a rival steelmaker worked together to scuttle the buyout. Biden said Friday that U.S. companies producing a large amount of steel need to keep leading the fight on behalf of America's national interests, though Japan, where Nippon is based, is a strong ally. In separate lawsuits filed Monday in the U.S. Court of Appeals in the District of Columbia and the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Pennsylvania, the steelmakers alleged that it was a political decision made by Biden that had no rational legal basis. Nippon Steel had promised to invest $2.7 billion in U.S. Steel's aging blast furnace operations in Gary, Indiana, and Pennsylvania's Mon Valley. It also vowed not to reduce production capacity in the United States over the next decade without first getting U.S. government approval. In your Market Watch recapping trading on the BISX from Friday, market movers, Consolidated Water closing at $5.20, up 3 cents. Emira Incorporated up 4 cents, closing at $9.12. The BISX All Share Index closing at 3,008.56, up 0.07. In your recapping the week, the local market ended the week with 166,150 shares crossing the exchange with 20 trades to accumulate a value of $859,199. The Basic All Share Index gained 7.88 points, or 0.263%, to end the week at 3,008.54. Year to date, the index is up 0.32 points, or 0.011%. The week's volume and value leader, Commonwealth Bank, moving 161,650 shares in 14 trades with a value of $816,199. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. D'Andrew Cartwright, before we go really quickly, just this horrible story coming out of Bimini of a 15-year-old boy killed in a traffic accident. And there's a story in the papers today about this, his grandmother expressing grief. But here we've got to... This accident didn't have to happen. This is a real tragedy, and the adults in this poor boy's life need to take some responsibility for this. The 15-year-old was driving around midnight when he lost control of the car he was driving and collided with a parked truck. 15, midnight, madness, and foolishness.
It doesn't indicate any need of emergency or anything like that.
You mean why he was driving?
Yeah.
No, I don't. But I mean, in any event, what? Bimini? Really? No. We've got to stop the foolishness, folks. Not in 2025. Come on now. 15, you can't even get your permit at 16 anymore here. It's 17 now, right? This is unacceptable and ridiculous. Again, condolences to the family, but for the love of God, we need accountability and sensible heads to prevail in our country, to avoid nonsense from happening here.
On every island.
Everywhere.
Not just the family islands.
Well,
we all know that.
We know the madness happens in Nassau, mainly.
Yeah.
So
No, but
the
you
whole
have
country.
some nonsense happening on the family islands from time.
Yeah. So that's not going to.
Our condolences to the
Condolences,
family.
but we've got to get it together. We've got to get it together.
In 2025, we have hope that we will get it together as a people,
Yeah.
as a country. We can do this.
D'Andrew Cartwright, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on my first show of Morning Blend for the
For
year.
the year. Hey, see you next week. I'll be back tomorrow with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great one. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green. Next.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on